Hey everybody, welcome to a new not Bantersode. We don't do this anymore. This is the variety show.
The triple threat, remember?
Ooh, the triple threat. Nothing at all like those Bantersodes you guys don't like. This here's a triple threat.
By the way, the vast majority of people love the Bantersodes.
Yeah, but there are the loud, complainy types that
there's another
lazy fucking Bantersode. Even though some of them even write me, they're like, seriously, another fucking. Oh my God, Sky's a vampire!
What the fuck is that? Oh my God, get him
I'm
out
fucking
of here.
vampire, dude. Oh,
Oh, okay. Well, shit. I'm glad we're socially distancing.
I was scared for a second.
you're fucking lucky. Oh, sorry.
Imagine if vampires really sounded like that.
All.
Oh,
I'm already a fucking.
I'm Count Dracula.
I can barely fucking speak as it is, and then you put this shit, and it's impossible. Fucking retard.
Maybe you should learn to talk in those, and then when you take them out, you'll have like a super my elocution is immaculate, you know.
Stay a while and listen, TJ. Yeah. I don't think it's gonna happen, dude.
Girlfriend. But no, there are those. I've been people write to me and they're like, oh, seriously, another fucking Bantersode. It's like, motherfucker.
I love it. I love being called lazy. There's and I understand it because people don't know what's going on behind shit.
Of course.
They're like, oh, nah, man, they really fucking getting lazy with these Bantersodes, and like we're literally we're shooting 6 days a week. We've been fucking we're literally going out of our minds because this is the end of our week when we're recording this one, and none of us have any gas left in the tank because we're just constantly fucking chugga, and then we put out a fucking episode and people are like, man, they're just really letting things slip here, these lazy fucking Bantersodes, and it's like, fuck you, dude.
All right,
dick.
So here's what we're doing instead. Each of us has pulled something prior to this to talk about to give a little bit more structure.
I didn't pull shit.
You did pull. You pulled stuff.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
No, I didn't. I didn't pull shit.
He
This
didn't
is a
pull nothing.
Bantersode. Fuck these motherfuckers. Bantersode.
Bantersode.
I'm going to do my best to take everything that you guys pulled off topic and make it bantery.
All right.
I will not be badgered. I will not be badgered into making what people tell me to make. I make what I want to make.
Why you always got to be so difficult, Paul? Why you always got to be so difficult?
I'm such a rebel. I'm such a rebel. I'm so rebellious.
Paul sees a sign says "Go left," everybody. You know which way Paul goes. Paul goes right. He sees a sign says "Go right." You know which way Paul goes. Paul goes left.
No, he doesn't. Paul takes the third way and keeps on going straight and doesn't turn at all.
He goes right off that cliff. He don't even care.
Arrow.
He goes right off that cliff like a lemon. He don't care. He's just like, woo!
I ain't gonna be told where to drive and where to
But let me
turn.
tell you this. When Paul walks off that cliff, which way you think he falls? You think he falls down? Nope. Not Paul.
That's the way I'm supposed to fall.
Paul falls straight up. Straight up into the fucking sky.
Yup. Now you understand.
I don't know why. I don't know what the character was that conveyed all that, but
I don't know either. Whoever he was, he knew me very.
he sure did. All right, so I'm on Prime, right? I'm scrolling through Amazon Prime, and I'm looking at recently added shit, and I see Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. I'm like, kind of remember that, but I kept scrolling. Whatever, fuck that. It's one where Robert De Niro's the monster. That's kind of weird. Keep scrolling. Scroll past a bunch of shit. Then I go to another tab that says movies we think you'd like. It's like, oh, it's trying to predict my taste now, huh? And I scroll through it, and a bunch of B movie schlock. I'm like, it does know me, you know. And then in there too, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. And I'm like, I think I saw that movie when I was 11, maybe 12, and I remember it being okay. I remember Robert De Niro being okay as the monster. That was kind of neat. I remember some cool visuals from it when I'm like, yeah, you know what? Fuck it. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
I'm looking at this poster, and let me say, I have some criticisms right off the bat.
Mhm.
I haven't seen them. I haven't seen the movie. I mean, I have seen parts of it. I'm aware vaguely about the movie. No, there's no tagline for this movie, especially for the time period. That's weird. Robert De Niro and Kenneth Branagh's names.
I don't think this was the original poster.
Okay, well, fair enough.
Maybe it was. I don't think it is.
But the names are like teensy tiny. It's like, who was involved in this? Oh yeah, some people involved.
Well,
Robert
trust
De Niro,
me, if you were Robert De Niro, that's about as big as you'd fucking want.
Well, that's
your
what
name
I'm
to be
saying.
on
It's
this,
like,
you know?
so Mr. De Niro, I talked to you about Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. I'm sorry, what? I wasn't in that movie.
Actors need an Alan Smithy pseudonym.
Yeah,
as well. Like this should be Alan Smithy and Alan.
Kenneth Branagh, to his eternal shame, also directed the movie as well as stars as Victor Frankenstein.
Did he?
Yeah, it's weird. We were just talking about him as a director the other day during one of our other shows that I don't even know if people have seen yet. But one of the things we said is like he's hit and miss as a director. Well, I happened to watch this. I didn't even know going into it he directed it, but after I watched this, I gotta say he's hit and miss. This is probably the biggest miss that I've seen from him. Okay, so this is a companion piece to Francis Ford Coppola produced this film, and he produced and directed Dracula. And it was the early 90s. He wanted to bring back these classics, and he wanted to put them out there both much closer to the books than previous versions had been. The screenplay for this film here was written by Frank Darabont, who wrote the screenplays for The Shawshank Redemption and The Mist. He wrote the screenplay for Dream Warriors back in the 80s. A lot of fucking cool films under this guy's name and shit, and a lot of cool horror. And he said that this was one of the best screenplays that he ever wrote and one of the worst films that he ever saw.
Damn.
That's a damn shame.
Puts the blame pretty much completely on Kenneth Branagh. He tried to do it in a very diplomatic way where he's basically like, well, look, sometimes the vision of the director and the vision of the writer are two very different visions.
I knew exactly what I was going to say. I think we had different visions for the project.
Right. So, what's wrong with this movie? Let me tell you that much.
Is it everything? Do you feel like there's
no? It's
anything?
not. It's not everything. There's actually some.
Okay.
There's actually some elements of the film that are kind of cool.
Okay.
So a lot of the set stuff, like Frankenstein's laboratory in the movie, is pretty fucking nuts. They're pretty crazy. So like the set design is good in a lot of fucking scenes, especially like the laboratory and shit. The makeup on the monster, all the monsters, and there's some pretty cool practical effects and stuff, and some pretty cool makeup, some pretty cool sets. There's even some performances that are not terrible, but where it really falls apart is the editing is terrible. I've never seen a movie show the passage of time worse than this fucking film, and it sucks because it's a really hard thing to convey, but it's like. Literally, it just like the plots move in such a way where like they keep cutting back to Frankenstein, but now it seems like he's way in the past because the monster's story has advanced months and months, and his story seems like it's only advanced like a day or two, even though they're cutting back and forth between them. So that's really distracting and weird. Kenneth Branagh is pretty fucking awful in the movie. Like his over-the-top sort of acting style can work for me sometimes. It doesn't really work in this. And it doesn't help that everybody's over the top, except for Robert De Niro.
Why is shirtless Kenneth Branagh so unsexy? Like, he doesn't have a bad body, but I'm looking at him and I'm just like, put a shirt on. You're not supposed to be shirtless.
Yeah, come on, Kenneth, man.
Shirtless Kenneth Branagh. He's ripped, too. Like, he's got a pack. He's got, it looks like a six-pack there.
But, yeah, I have to pretty much agree with you. There's just not, you're not going to feel anything. And I'm about to say, I'm not bi like you guys, but like, I mean, if I'm just judging, it's like, yeah, he looks like he's in good shape, but he's not someone that's going to like, most of them are just going to be like, meh.
I'm not happy about seeing him with a shirt off. I think he needs to put on like a ruffled Shakespearean style shirt or something. Yeah, there you go. That's what I'm talking about. Now he's looking pretty good.
So here he is building his monster, filling it with all these weird fluids and shit. Apparently, one aspect of the book Frankenstein, I've never read the book, so I don't know this for sure, but this is my understanding, is that the specifics of how he brings the monster to life in the book are pretty fucking vague. Yes. Like leading every.
I read it back in school. It was on the reading list in school.
Gotcha.
For my English 1A class and or not English 1A, honors English or whatever it was. But yeah, it's very vague. Like it doesn't. Like it leaves a lot of room, and you can tell that the people that have made movies out of it have taken their liberties with the process and stuff, because it's not really lined out in the book all that well.
So every film adaptation that's ever been made has kind of like, you know, had to make something up for this, because obviously you can't leave it vague in a movie. I guess you could, but you know, I don't think any of them have chosen to do that. The only film versions I'm really familiar with of this story, though, are probably the classic 30s one and this one. By the way, right. I wish I'd watched the 30s one instead. Honestly, these scenes are pretty cool. Honestly, like the lab scenes. This is probably my favorite part of the fucking movie. Oh my god, some of the editing is so fucking awful in this. There's like when the monster escapes the lab, you don't even know if it's a real scene or if it's a dream sequence. Because what happens is Frankenstein, he makes the monster. He thinks he accidentally killed it, and in the dumbest way possible, by the way. Literally, he pulls the monster out of the goo. The monster's slipping around everywhere, like can't even stand up. It's so weak. Then he fucking he tries to prop it up on some ropes, but then the ropes are attached to this weird scaffolding shit, and something happens on accident where like the scaffolding rises up and it accidentally lifts up the monster and hits him in the head, and he's like, oh no, I killed him. And then he writes in his journal about like the creature had incredible strength, but it's like, when did he have incredible strength? What was supposed to convey that? Him not being able to stand up and sliding all around in a bunch of goo and then dying? That was supposed to convey his incredible power.
Dude, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
And maybe you'll agree with me. I honestly feel I've never been as interested in Frankenstein as I have been with Dracula, but I kind of feel like it's like this analogy maybe makes it. Maybe this will make a little more sense if you have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
Dracula, I feel for the most part, is like Marvel, and Frankenstein has been treated like DC. Maybe every once in a while there's something good that comes out of it, but it seems like Frankenstein has never really been done justice. Maybe yeah, you can argue like the golden age of cinema, like the 30s and stuff like that. But as far as a modern retelling, I guess it's the most modern movie I can think of that Frankenstein is prominently featured, and this is fucking, from what you say, dog shit. And it never looked that great. And like Kenneth Branagh, I know he's done some good work, but everything I feel like he does, I feel like I agree with you. His deficiency is like he's really good at dealing with these actors, and I think at this time he's probably coming more from a stage background, so like everyone's almost portrayed over the top, except De Niro, who's probably just going to do whatever the fuck De Niro does because he's Robert De Niro.
So I'll give De Niro some credit. I think I have a picture of him. Well, this is Kenneth Branagh on Helena Bonham Carter, who's his love interest in the movie. Oh,
who ends up.
This is kind of weird, by the way. It's actually they're raised together as brother and sister, but they're also
they do like a bride. They do like a Bride of Frankenstein thing with her.
Yeah,
don't they?
They do.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So we'll get to that in a second. So this is De Niro as the monster here. Looks like this image has been mirror flipped because I believe that patch around the eye is supposed to be on the other side, but whatever, it doesn't really matter. They made his eyes two different colors, which is like almost to convey like one eye came from one body, one eye came from another. So that's kind of a neat little thing they did. These stitches, they're fresh at first, and throughout the course of the movie, like you see more and more of the actual stitching fall off as like the wounds heal, but I mean he never really fully heals. It's like scar tissue and stuff throughout. I would say that in a movie full of crazy over the top performances, like everybody's over the top, De Niro decides to play the monster like pretty fucking subtle. And I guess that for me, at least, it worked a little better than the rest of the movie, but it still just didn't work, and it made the tone completely uneven. The tone of this movie is all over the fucking place. Because then you'll have like one scene, like it's pretty weird when the monster is like the subtlest part of the fucking movie. You know what I mean?
See, like, you saw it as subtlety, and it's been about, like I was telling you before the show, it's been about 6-7 years probably since I saw this movie.
Yeah.
And I remember that, like, what you're describing as subtlety, at least 6 or 7 years ago, to the best of my memory, I interpreted as boring.
Yeah. I mean, it is boring.
I thought that, well, I'm talking specifically, though, about De Niro's performance. Like, I felt like it was too subdued and too close to like a normal human being. You know what I mean? And really the only thing that was monstrous about him was his appearance.
Yeah. He was like 1 second he'd be playing the monster super sympathetic, where you like felt bad for the monster. And then the next second he'd be like strangling little kids and like ripping people's hearts out and shit like Mortal Kombat. I mean, it's just like, what's going on here? What's going on with this performance? And then it's just like the movie couldn't decide whether it wanted to be like 20 miles over the top or whether it wanted to be like a more subdued, realistic take. And it's like it just met halfway in the middle by doing half the scenes one way and half the scenes the other.
Yeah.
Oh, the other thing about this movie that really, like, if you start watching this movie, you're gonna be the pace is gonna fucking. It's gonna. Okay, so when they decided to adapt the book more closely, what that basically meant was we're gonna hit every single plot point of the book, but we're gonna go through it. It's gonna be just like rote, like. Here's this scene, here's this scene, here's this scene, here's this scene. There's never any time given for shit to sink in. Nothing's ever built up. Nothing's even like, so like here, the movie starts and it's Frankenstein as a little kid. And then he loves his mom. Oh no, his mom's dead. Oh, this shouldn't happen. You know, it's just like, these scenes, they just come so fucking quick. Like, you see a scene of him like laughing and giggling as a little kid, and then the next scene, his mom is like with him as an adult, and she's like, "You were such a serious little boy." It's like, no, he wasn't. We just saw him one scene ago. He wasn't serious. He was laughing and giggling. The only scene you've showed us of him as a kid is him being happy and giggly, and then in the very next scene, you're like, "You were such a serious, somber little boy." And there's a million and one things like that.
Maybe that was the point. Maybe that was showing that his mother had the wrong idea about him and didn't see the joy.
Well, I mean,
it's what made him the way he is.
I don't think so, because he had like his whole thing was he loved his mom and they were super close, and then she dies, and it's like, no. It wasn't like there wasn't any play up of like she never understood me or something. If anything, it was like she was the only one who did understand me.
Got it. Yeah.
And it just goes through these like, and it goes through and so fucking fast paced. It's like then this scene and this scene, and it's like scene after scene after scene. It's like there's no breathing room. There's no build up. It's just this scene, 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 and then at the end of it, still fucking manages to be an overly long movie.
Of course,
because there's no judiciousness to the cutting. This monster fucking sucks at the end of the day. Like, he's probably one of the better parts of the movie in terms of, like, actually making it, like, a real movie, but he's still garbage. So this is one of the few things that actually changed from the original story. So in the original story, the monster comes to Frankenstein and says, "Make me a bride." And Frankenstein is like, "Okay, I'll do it." And then he starts to do it. But then before he actually brings the bride to life, he's like, "No, I can't do this again. This is abomination against God." And, he destroys it, and then the monster freaks out and kills his wife. And that sets off the quest. So in this version, they do a little bit of a different thing. And it's one of the very few ways in which they actually deviate from the book. In this version, the monster asks him to make him a bride. He accepts initially, but then pretty much immediately reneges on the deal. And decides he's going to hunt and kill the monster instead. So him and his bride-to-be run off together. They get married in a secret ceremony, and they run off with some armed guards so the monster can't get them, and they're going to hunt the monster and kill it, so that he doesn't have to fear the monster anymore. Of course, the monster gets the better of the guards and Frankenstein and ends up killing his wife on his wedding night before he's able to consecrate the marriage, because even though this is a dude who goes so against orthodoxy that he's trying to reanimate corpses, he still will not fuck he will not fuck her until their wedding night. But he never gets to. Instead, the monster shows up and rips her heart out in the most ridiculously over-the-top Mortal Kombat shit you've ever seen. He's like, holds out her heart and like, I keep my promises, you know? And so then Frankenstein goes...
I'd forgotten that. I'd forgotten that point.
Yeah, he goes crazy with grief. He brings her body back to the lab and reanimates her. But then the monster shows up because it was all part of the monster's Machiavellian scheme all along to get him to do this, because he knew that was the only way he would do it, is if he was trying to bring back his love. And he's like, yes, she will be a good bride for me. And they literally start like tug of warring over like, she's mine. No, she's mine. And then she's like, and then she literally throws a fucking she throws a fucking lantern on herself and explodes into flames.
Of course.
And then she starts running around the castle on fire, and everything she touches just combusts instantly. And like there's one part where like there's literally like explosions out of nowhere. She's just running down a hall, and like the hallway in front of her just explodes for no reason whatsoever. And then the whole castle just explodes.
Isn't it in the book?
Like it was loaded with dynamite or something. Yeah, go ahead.
In the book, it's the fucking it's the peasants that burn the castle. Does that not happen in the movie?
No, it's her. No, yeah, she does it.
In the book, I'm 99% sure, and I may be wrong about this because, like I said, I was in high school when I read Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, but I'm 99% sure that the townspeople get wind of what he's doing, and they show up to kill the monster. They don't, but they burn his castle, and the monster escapes. Like they face him and they don't kill him.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never read the book, so I'm not 100% sure. I've just read about this movie and its making, and I know that this didn't happen in the book. And I can tell you, in this movie, she burns down the castle and destroys herself in the process. And honestly, it's probably one of the better scenes in the fucking movie. It's ridiculous and retarded and stupid, but it actually stands out because I don't know. It's just such a weird fucking scene. Like he brings her back to life and he's like dancing with her. Like the first thing he does is like, let's dance. And she's like falling. She's like practically falling apart and shit with like her head is like stitched on. And you're like, you just keep imagining it just like plopping off. Like, well,
TJ, let me ask you this about it. Do you think that, and maybe this is something that happens with, I think that happens with a lot of actors when they sit in the directing chair. I think sometimes, like, and I know we criticize this about a lot of movies, but I think it's kind of hard to imagine this movie had much of a fucking plot. I mean, I know they had the book as the basis, but it didn't really seem like they took the actual book very seriously. Maybe they did.
No, they tried to. I mean, like I said, if anything, there was too much plot, and they were trying to get through it all super quick. And
but that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like they take the plot, and then they become too, like, in a sense, maybe not. Maybe I put it wrong. Like they become too faithful, is what I'm saying. Like it becomes too faithful, and they want to show too much, so they're adding so many details in that it's kind of like you can't see the forest through the trees. You know what I mean? Like there's so many things that come up in the film.
Yeah. This is so. If they wanted to tell the plot, like if they wanted to do the story that they did in this movie, if they wanted to touch on every plot element that they touched on, it feels to me like this movie should have been more like a 3 or 4 hour fucking movie. But it wasn't. They tried
Dracula is long. It's not 4 hours, but it's like 2 and change, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and this one's around two plus. I don't know. I don't think it was quite 2.5, but it was 2+ hours. But like, they just introduced too many plot elements, and like some of the stuff just certainly should have been cut, and some of the stuff was just like not. I wish I could show you some of the editing on this. Okay, so there's a scene. He's just created the monster. He thinks he accidentally killed the monster. He's laying in bed. He wakes up. He sees the monster standing there, but it doesn't even feel like it's a real thing. It feels like it's part of a dream sequence. And then instead of showing the monster actually escaping, it shows like he all of a sudden starts like having a vision of like, I think it was his father, but it was kind of unclear who it was talking to, but it was like just a fat dude standing on the other side of a fence that was like, Victor Frankenstein, what have you done? And it makes sound like this weird speech, and interspersed with that weird speech from like maybe his father or maybe just some random fucking douchebag, there's like little snippets of scenes of the monster escaping that feel more like a dream sequence than actual events, but are apparently meant to show something that's actually happening in the plot. And it's totally confused and confusing. The editing in this movie is some of the worst I've ever seen. It just is. Like, it's just hideously bad. Scenes are just edited in such a way where you cannot tell what the fuck is going on. The plot is constructed in such a way where it's unclear how much time is supposed to have passed for everybody. It's just like everything about it is a disjointed fucking mess. The movie is a fucking mess.
So the movie is a Frankenstein.
Yeah, it really feels like it was stitched together from fucking parts that don't belong together.
Maybe that was the point, TJ.
Yeah.
Maybe you missed the deep fucking meaning.
Whoa.
The plot was made that way to reflect the disjointed nature of the monster's mind, TJ, and body.
Wow. This movie, you know what, Paul? Maybe you're right. This movie's more profound than I thought.
You're not on Kenneth Branagh's level, dude.
Get on his level. Get on his
level. Take your shirt off and see if you look as good as he does, man.
All right, let's see. Let's do a comparison. Hold on.
Yeah, I want to. Yeah,
I'll do the same pose. Let's see.
Branagh and shirtless TJ.
Be like,
who wore it better? I actually prefer the shirtless TJ. Shockingly enough, you look better naked than Kenneth Branagh does for some reason. Like, it looks more natural. Like TJ.
Well, I've lost a little bit of weight. I'm obviously still pretty fat.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that's not what I'm talking. Like, you just look more natural standing there with your shirt off than he does.
Dude, he is terrible in the movie. I gotta say, like, he's awful. He's fucking awful. I mean, and I've liked him in movies before. I've liked some of his performances. I like some of his Shakespeare and shit, but he is terrible in this movie.
I mean, he's a talented actor. Ain't nobody saying he's not, but
no, this role was not right for him. I mean, he directed himself, so you can't even like blame that. Like, it's just, you know what? It really comes across.
That might have been the problem.
It comes across as way self-indulgent. It really does, and I think that's why he's shirtless like this in this scene. He's like, "Oh, I'm going to show off how sexy I am in this scene," you know?
Right. Yeah, he's not. This doesn't look right.
So, like, there's a scene. Literally in one scene, he's fine. Okay, he's just normal. He looks like himself, and then in the next scene, apropos of nothing, like his wife or his girlfriend at the time, I guess, and his best friend show up, and he's just a fucking mess, and he's covered in grime and dirt, and he just looks miserable. He's been up for fucking days straight, and he's just like, oh. There was no build up to it. Like, everything in this movie is just scenes that come right the fuck out of the wild blue yonder with no build up, and they're there and they're here and then they're gone. Everything is just gibberish. It's a horrible fucking movie, but honestly, I'd recommend it to anybody because it's fucking. It's entertaining. Like, especially if you're gonna watch it with somebody. If you got another person, and you can't fucking agree on a good movie to watch this piece of shit. Because you'll laugh your asses off. It's fucking ridiculous.
I mean, there are certain people that aren't into that. Like, it's a certain taste in movies where you appreciate a bad movie for its entertainment value. You know what I mean? Like, some people they don't got the fucking patience to sit through a movie like this. It's a total mess.
Well, for those, if you got a friend that you can't do that with, then throw that friend in the trash. That's all I can say.
I mean, yeah, get yourself a friend to fuck on movies with, because it's literally one of life's greatest pleasures, you know?
To look at someone else's artistic attempt to entertain you and show you something, like, to tell... Because, you know, like... All right, so, to give this movie some credit, like, there's a lot of inventiveness in it, and, like, clearly they tried to make something good. And there was some talented people involved, some talented actors, some talented set designers, some talented special effects artists, a very talented screenwriter in Frank Darabont. So there was a lot of great talent involved in this movie, and it's clear they were trying to make something good, but it's just a fucking disaster. And I guess that's all I have to say about it.
I'm probably going to check it out because, interestingly enough, and this seems to happen a lot, like coincident. I think it's just the nature of you and I having very similar taste in film. But like, you'll watch something, and I'll have watched something adjacent to it relatively recently. Happens a lot. Like, I just probably 2 nights before you watched this, watched Bram Stoker's Dracula. For probably the umpteenth time in my life, but
that's a great movie. Yeah.
Amelia hadn't seen it. Then it's been a really, like, I'll tell you what, dude. Say what you want about the very prickly and hard to navigate nature of relationships with people that are way younger than you, but I'm telling you, one big fucking benefit to having a girlfriend that's younger than you is she hasn't seen a lot of these classic movies. She's a movie buff. I wouldn't call her like on my level of movie buff, but she loves movies. Like, she loves talking about movies, but she's just never seen a lot of these movies I consider to be classic and shit because she either wasn't born or, was like 2 when they came out,
Right.
But Bram Stoker's Dracula is a movie that is like we were talking about it earlier, and I have a hard time describing Dracula because it's a movie that is brilliant in spite of itself. I think that's the best way to put it. Like, it really tries its hardest. If you look at the pictures of the main characters that are right at the bottom of this poster,
right,
3 of them really don't bring their A game. One of them really fucking shits on the movie. So you can probably guess which one.
Let's just go. I mean, okay. So listen, Keanu Reeves. All right. Oh, hold on. You know what?
Let's start from left. Let me just start from left to right. Gary Oldman.
Brilliant.
Gary Oldman is this movie.
Yeah.
And he should 100%. Be. It's called Dracula.
Yeah.
So they did an absolutely wonderful job. By the way, a little piece of trivia. For the longest time, Michael Keaton was signed on to play Dracula in this film. And shoot it to do some other film, and they got Gary Oldman. Now, do you know who we have to thank for Gary Oldman being in this film? This is actually a pretty good piece of trivia about Bram Stoker's Dracula. Do you know?
If I'm gonna throw it out there just randomly, not know anything, I'm gonna say Tom Waits because I know he was in this movie too.
Okay, so that's a good guess, but you're wrong. It's somebody you wouldn't guess. Actually, I'll give you a hint. It's somebody that's pictured here.
Fuck, is it
Keanu?
So, at the time this movie was made, what is her fucking name?
Winona Ryder.
Winona Ryder was at the height of her popularity as an actress in America. She was the biggest name in this film when it came out. And she basically cast this movie. Like, she had input on who was put where, and she basically said, I'm not going to do this film unless Gary Oldman is in it, because she like really admired him.
Right.
She loved Gary Oldman's work, and she was like, if he's not in this movie as Dracula, then I'm not in it. And they hired him on the basis of that.
Wow.
But in an interesting twist, they hated each other. So like, when she got him the job, and then they ended up clashing to the point where they were constantly bickering on the set, and it became like a big issue shooting scenes between the two of them because they hated each other.
Wow.
But it's really her that we have to thank for Gary Oldman being in this film. He carries it. She gives a middling performance in this film. There are certain scenes where she is really effective and great. There are certain scenes where it's cringe.
I will say that I've heard a lot of people honestly put her performance on Keanu Reeves' performance on the same level of badness, and I do not agree with that. I do not agree with that at all. Winona Ryder is much better in this movie than Keanu Reeves, but that's a really low bar. She makes
a valiant attempt at the film, but I think the material just overwhelms her. I think she tries the accent. I think it's difficult. I think as an American, she really struggles with the accent a lot.
I'll be really honest with you guys. I'll be really honest with you guys about this English accent shit. I really don't give a fuck if an American actor doesn't do a good British accent. I know that might be distracting if you're British, and I guess for some Americans it's distracting. But like, I mean,
it detracts from their performance because they're taking so much energy and effort to do something that they're not even pulling off.
Yeah, it's not even really necessary. It's not like they if Keanu Reeves had just spoken in like a slightly more like eloquent voice and not gone full fucking I'm attempting to do British, this movie would have been better, and his performance would have been better for it.
I mean, really, look, I mean, so in the case of Winona Ryder, it's just a middle of the road performance. It doesn't strike me as being particularly egregiously awful or anything, but it also doesn't strike me as being at all good. It's just kind of like real middle of the road. She does what she needs to do. I think it's a serviceable but not special performance.
I would say the same thing about Anthony Hopkins too. He definitely doesn't bring his A game in this movie, but his character, the character of Van Helsing, is kind of buried in this film. Honestly, he's not in a lot of it. He doesn't have a lot of scenes. And I was telling TJ before the show, I really feel like Anthony Hopkins had like an idea for this character that just wasn't given enough screen time to develop, and so it comes off a little weird and out of place. But he does good in the scenes that he's in. There's some really memorable stuff. So it's not like he's bad in the movie.
Yeah,
it's just,
I would say he brings his B game.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's a B minus, B even game from fucking Hopkins here. He could have done better. But
it could have been.
I mean, he wasn't given enough time. Van Helsing was never fleshed out enough. I mean, and I think there was a lot of good scenes. I don't think that Anthony Hopkins necessarily did bad in the film. But you're right. I mean, a game. No, we've seen the heights he can rise.
I mean, like when you compare, if you compare this role to like, here's Anthony Hopkins as Hannibal Lecter, in Silence of the Lambs,
I mean, Anthony Hopkins has got
even some of his like stuff as like Odin and shit.
Oh, dude, he was great as Odin.
I mean, he was better in Nixon than this, which is
Nixon was a terrible, misguided movie, but Anthony Hopkins does give it his all. I'll give him that. Like, he brought his game. It just the script sucked.
Yeah, and then Keanu Reeves is the herpes sore on this.
Oh my god,
he really should not have been cast. Any number of actors could have done a better job. Jude Law would have been great in this role. He was the right age and had the right look. Can you
pull a scene? Can you pull like a little Keanu scene from this movie?
I can do that. So let me say of Keanu. Okay, yeah, let me just.
Keanu Reeves has been. I've loved a lot of movies he's been in. I don't think he's a horrible actor or anything like that. But this role, he's just so wrong for. There's just roles that you're just totally wrong for, and he's totally and utterly wrong for this role.
Well, look, the thing about Keanu in this movie is Keanu Reeves is not a good actor. Okay, he's just not. I mean, there's some movies he works in. He has a range. There's a range where Keanu Reeves works, and it's like this.
Yeah. If he stays in that range, he's good. Yeah.
And you know what? I mean, like, that's fine. He's a charming guy. He can obviously connect with an audience. I like Keanu Reeves. I like a lot of movies he's in. I like a lot of his performances, but he's not like a fucking acting actor. You know what I mean?
Is it short?
Yes, sir. I will give it my full attention. All right. I have offended you with my ignorance, Count.
I've seen many strange things already. Bloody wolves chasing me through some blue inferno.
Inferno!
No.
I know where the bastard sleeps.
I know where the bastard sleeps. Dude, that was my favorite.
Undead.
Oh, that's my favorite bad line of his in this movie.
Let's go back so you can hear it again. Let's go back. I talked over it. Let's go back a little bit.
It's just the part where he's like, I know where the bastard sleeps.
I know where the bastard sleeps.
It's so bad.
To Carfax Abbey.
Carfax Abbey.
You see what I mean, though? You see what I mean about detracting from his performance? Because, I mean, like, Keanu Reeves, like, if I didn't know anything about Dracula, like, at all, if I was just, like, a total dum-dum and, like, you took them two out and said, okay, one's an undead monster and the other is like a fucking lawyer. Gary Oldman as Dracula, who has fucking heavy prosthetics and makeup on, is more lively as the fucking Count than the guy who's supposed to be alive and well. It's like Keanu Reeves is just dead in this movie. Like, his performance is dead. He feels like the fucking undead.
To try and be charitable to Keanu here, I will tell you that most of his scenes have him acting opposite Gary Oldman, who just runs circles around him in terms of
it's awful. It's awful.
Ability.
It's so bad.
So it's made all the worse by the fact that most of his big scenes have him juxtaposed against Gary Oldman as Dracula, who just absolutely chews the screen.
Let me tell you another thing.
You remember that scene where basically Jonathan Hart comes into the castle and they're like, he kind of makes a remark about the Turks and all that shit, and he's like, "Oh, okay," and he's like, "It's just no laughing matter."
Yeah, he grabs that sword and
like the gravitas. Yeah, the gravitas he has in so many scenes. You're right. It's just like, wow. And then
have you guys ever seen have you guys ever seen another film? Any?
I've not seen another film
no, I'm asking if you ever seen another film where there's two actors in a scene opposite each other.
Yes.
Where it's that uneven.
No. I can't think of one. I've seen there are certainly like examples of great actors and not so great actors sharing scenes together, but I've never seen a juxtaposition that stood out like a sore thumb like this one does that I can think of off the top of my head.
The closest I can think of is there's a movie called, I think it's called Coffee and Cigarettes, where Tom Waits and Iggy Pop do a scene together. And
Tom Waits is great, and Iggy Pop is horrible.
Yeah, and Tom Waits is I would say he's a pretty fucking solid actor. I mean, he's
also in Dracula.
He's in this movie. Yeah,
he's in Dracula as well as Renfield, and he's great in that too.
He's great. He's fucking great in this movie as well.
But he sits down with Iggy Pop. He does the scene, and Iggy Pop is totally stilted. Totally just not like is your typical like very stilted bad performance kind of actor. Like, well, man, that is crazy. He's not in the moment. He's not in the scene. He's like a dude acting. And Tom Waits is really in the scene, and they're having a conversation. It's really disjointed, and it's really like, it's distracting how like one person's an actor and the other person's not. But that doesn't even come fucking close to how uneven these scenes are in terms of performance between Keanu Reeves and Gary Oldman.
No.
Like Gary Oldman is like doing like some Oscar caliber shit, and Keanu Reeves would be laughed off the stage of a fucking school play. I mean, it's just like,
yeah. Well, it's like when you watch Dracula, you feel that is Dracula. It's like, this is fucking Dracula here. Like, look, where's Dracula? Right there. Oh, here's this guy. This guy fucking is this the gaffer that wandered onto the set? Or is this his stand-in? Like, he just doesn't work, man. It doesn't fucking work. And you're right, Paul.
Even
or an actual British actor would have been a way better choice.
Oh yeah, dude. Like there are a number of people that were popular actors at this time that would have killed this role in comparison to what Keanu gave it. But he was just a big name. He was like a big heartthrob at the time. So was Winona Ryder. That's how they got their roles. But they're like, the woman that plays Lucy in the movie.
Oh, I love her. She's great.
Yeah. She would have made a better fucking Mina. She actually dyed her hair red because she was afraid, and some of the costuming people mentioned that she looked so much like Winona Ryder because she's a brunette, naturally, the actress that plays that. And it was her idea to make Lucy a redhead, which ends up like, it's such a choice. It's such a great choice in the film.
Yeah, and she's way better. She's way better than
she's got way better chops than Winona Ryder does. Would have been a way better Mina. I think actually fucking Winona Ryder might have been better as fucking Lucy, to be honest with you. Who knows? Like this movie, but like I will tell you, my favorite scene in this movie, and this just goes to show you how over the top good fucking Gary Oldman is in this movie, is the scene where he confronts Jonathan Harker as he's shaving. And I went in to look at that at some trivia about that scene. And there's a number of things that they did to make that scene more believable for the actors and obviously present more believable. Number one, Gary Oldman got drunk to do that scene. He felt like that the count, like he was bringing too much seriousness to that scene. And so he got wasted on purpose. So he was dead drunk filming that whole scene. And they filmed that scene at like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
So that everybody on the set, so when the lights were down, it was the dead of night. You know what I mean? So like it kind of added to the tone of that scene. But that's such a fucking amazing scene. The shadow work, the way his shadow, and that's something that's actually described in the book that Coppola was insistent be in, and something he sold from Murnau in Nosferatu as well, with the shadows that move independently.
Oh yeah,
blah, blah, blah.
Which is a totally cool villain trope that it's been used a few more times since, and maybe a few times before as well. But it's super. It's probably better done in that movie than any other.
But it
I've ever
enhances
seen.
the atmosphere of the movie. Seeing the Count do one thing and then something else happening in the background, that just gives your mind like, what's happening over there, what's happening here.
Well,
like
his shadow almost like seems to reflect like more of like his emotions and his true intentions, The
most stark example of that is the scene where he discovers Jonathan Harker's locket that has a picture of Mina in it.
Yeah, and then the shadow starts to strangle him.
The shadow, like he's saying, "Oh, that's my fiance. We're to be married when I return home." And you know, the count is just kind of wistfully looking at the picture, but his shadow is like strangling Harker. You know what I mean?
My favorite scene in that movie, though, is it's right at the fucking beginning. It's the Dracula origin story that I don't even think was in the book. I think it's one of the few things they actually added that wasn't in the original book. Even though these movies were made to be closer to the original source material than previous adaptations had been, they did add this Dracula origin story, and I just love the way they did it with the entire church starts like bleeding, and he like drinks the blood, and he's like, "I renounce God."
Yeah, no, it's a great callback too, because the film
and the soundtrack, by the way, the soundtrack's amazing as well.
Yeah, the main theme for Dracula has got to be one of the greatest themes ever in a fucking that dun 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 dun.
Yeah, that's probably cool.
So yeah, great movie.
That movie's dope, and to think of it as a companion piece to this disjointed mess that was Frankenstein is really weird, but that's how they were intended. One more thing about Frankenstein that pissed me off. I know I fucking said I was done, but I just thought of a new thing. And this is kind of more of like a really base level complaint, but a movie that shows me long, gratuitous, sloppy scenes of Robert De Niro's ass and balls. A movie that shows me that should also definitely show me Helena Bonham Carter's tits, especially when they're going to have them busting out of her fucking whatever the fuck it's called, corset.
Bustier.
Yeah. It's like, they're like this the whole time. And then there's scenes where you think you're going to see them, and then you never do. I'm like, you showed me Robert De Niro's balls, but you won't even let me have a nip? Come on.
You know what they say, TJ? They say the road to hell is paved with good intentions. But I'll
tell you what they should have said is the road to hell is paved with Robert De Niro's slimy ball sack. That's what I said.
I forgot his balls were in that movie.
Yeah.
You know what, TJ?
It's a weird fucking scene. And it's another example of the terrible editing of the movie where Frankenstein, the monster's just been born, and Frankenstein's trying to help him up, and they literally linger on it for like 30, 40 seconds, and there's like jump cuts in it, like a YouTube video, where he's trying to help the monster up, and it's literally just him and the monster like wrestling in this like amniotic slime shit, and the monster's naked, and you see his balls, and you see his ass, and it's just like, his balls jiggling all around, and shit's like, okay, all right, and it looks like him and the monster, like Chelsea's like, are they gonna fuck? I'm like, maybe. I don't know. It kind of seems like we're leading to it.
But you know what, TJ? We did get Dracula. So, I mean, 1 out of 2 ain't bad. In life, that's pretty good.
50-50.
No, we got one really good movie that, despite some flaws, is still a masterpiece in my mind. Paul, why don't you tell them about that CG shit? Because I found that really interesting when you were telling me that earlier.
Another thing I learned going through the trivia about Bram Stoker's Dracula was that the studio heavily pressured Coppola to use CGI. They read the script, and a number of the effects shots that he wanted to do had they were like, there's no way that we can do this without CGI. You need to heavily use CGI in this movie. And the effects team that he had hired, that he had a hand in hiring, Coppola, all kind of sided with the studio, and they were like, yeah, this is going to look way better if you do it CGI, and this is not even possible. So, and he was like, okay, well, you're fucking fired. He fired his whole fucking special effects team, hired a bunch of dudes that had worked with him on some of his older movies that he knew were good at practical effects, and we got the movie that we got. So,
man, what a fucking genius, because if he had not listened to those people, this movie probably would have fucking tipped from, like you said, masterpiece or great film or good film, whatever you feel about it, to just dog turd.
There were a number of scenes in this movie that his initial effects team and the studio said were impossible or too expensive to do. But the biggest one was the scene where the guys that are led by Van Helsing that are trying to kill Dracula at Carfax Abbey, they catch him in the room with Mina. And when they bust in on him, he's kind of like just turned Mina. And when they see him, he's in that bat form, that awesome practical bat suit that they put Gary Oldman in, and he has that whole scene where he stomps his foot and the crucifix lights on fire, and then he backs into the corner. If you remember, he backs into the corner slowly until all you can see are his like red eyes, and then they're like, light, shine a light, and somebody shines a light on it, and it's just rats, like rats in the shape of a human standing there, and then they all fall and scurry away. And that shot is all done practically. There's no CG in it whatsoever. It's done with like overlay and cutaways and in-camera trickery.
And it's done beautifully. I mean, figuring that out was so much better than showing, let's show everything and let's have it all CGI. Like, I think that's what movies have lost. It's like, we'll show you everything now. It's like, you don't really need to show everything. The human mind doesn't even work that way. It's like, we can be, that's why, magicians work so well, because it's like, look here. Now here. Like, a movie can employ that same misdirection in different shots and seeing here's the reaction of the characters. You know what I mean? There's so much you can show without and imply and still not lose anything.
We don't really need the sound, but let's just look at the visuals of the fucking the moment there.
Sure. So he
backs off in the corner there
with his eyes, and then shoomp. They show this, and then there's rats. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is all done practically, all done with in-camera work. The only thing that's not, it's not CGI. It's like that old school overlay technology that they used to use back in the 80s to make his eyes glow. You know what I mean? Like, that's used in this, but that's not CG. That's like animation overlaid onto the movie cell.
Yeah, and I got to say that if this had been done with 1992 CG effects, it would look awful. It would look fucking terrible and would have aged horribly. As things stand, it still holds up.
It not only does it hold up, it's still one of the most memorable practical effects I've ever seen.
It's like, great. It's
so perfect for him.
Absolutely.
And once again, like, another thing that did, it was very true to the books. Like Dracula in other adaptations, earlier adaptations of this, didn't have all the powers that he has in this movie. Dracula can turn into a wolf in Bram Stoker's original work. Dracula can turn into a bat. He can turn into a half man, half bat. He can turn into a half man, half wolf. He can turn into mist. And you don't see that in most. Maybe
he can climb on walls. I mean, like, he's got the full array of. If you really want to watch an in-depth explanation of the different adaptations of Dracula, James Rolfe.
Yeah.
Actually, he read the book and then he watched like 40 different versions of the fucking thing, and he'll tell you like what elements are present in what movies. And,
Cinemassacre.
I think Bram Stoker's Dracula, the movie we're talking about here, the Francis Ford Coppola one. I think he said it was pretty much the closest to the book, or it was like second place or something.
I haven't seen
very near
40 Dracula adaptations, but I've seen quite a few, and it's the one that I feel is the most faithful. So I'd be shocked if there was one that was more faithful to the book.
I think he said there was a TV one that was close or maybe a little bit more faithful, but still, I mean, whatever. I mean, I think it's faithful or not, it's just a solid fucking movie, and it looks good. It fucking works.
It's more than a solid movie. Like, a solid movie would be one thing. This movie is a movie. There's not another movie out there that looks that. It had such a unique visual fucking style, you know?
Oh yeah.
So yeah, love it. Who wants to, are you finished now, TJ, or you have more to say about Frankenstein?
I have nothing more to say about Frankenstein. I just want to say, I don't have nothing against I want to make it clear. I don't have nothing against Robert De Niro's balls or whatever. You know, I mean, like, you show me his balls TJ, if you want, but
look,
also show me Helena Bonham Carter's titties, especially at that time. Show me Helena Bonham Carter's 1992 titties. Like, now,
those titties were in good shape then.
You can keep modern Helena Bonham Carter's titties yourself if you want. I mean, I'll still look at them, but
40 plus Helena Bonham Carter probably ain't
keep
got the same titties.
But
keep that. But
show me them early '90s Helena Bonham Carter titties, though. I mean, you can definitely show me those, and you didn't.
TJ,
and that
I just want to say that I can tell you your favorite scene in Frankenstein, dude.
Okay.
And no matter what you say, don't even bother denying it. And you already told us. It's them Robert De Niro balls, dude. I don't care what the fuck you say, TJ. I don't care what you play up in public. Oh, I'm so disgusted. That was just a moment of total and utter pleasure for you. You saw
Scotty,
that. You saw two men wrestling in the amniotic sac. You're like, yes, this is my dream. This is my fantasy. Please show me Robert De Niro's slimy, disgusting, wrinkly balls. And that moment when that fucking happened, your bucket list got a check mark on it,
Scotty.
Okay? You know it did.
Here's what you do, Scotty. I want you and your wife to sit down sometime in the next day or two. I want you to sit down and go watch that movie on Amazon Prime and just watch together. And just have yourself a grand old time. Just do it. And come back and tell me about the results. Because
Look, I just need minute markers so I can avoid the Robert De Niro balls.
No, you need to see the whole thing. You need to soak it in.
You have to see them balls, Scotty.
In fact,
I need the censored version. I need the censored version.
In fact,
the TV cut.
Tell me when you're going to do it, because I'll come and I'll watch it again. I'll watch
You're
it.
You're gonna come watch it again?
Yeah, I'll watch it again with you guys. I'll come see it.
all right, we'll do it. That's fine.
We'll have a Frankenstein watch party. Honestly, I feel like I have not exercised the demons that I have. I feel like I still have things about this movie I want to convey to people, but I don't even know. I mean, I don't even have the words in me to do it. So
you guys know we can do like privately if we're bored and we want to. We can do watch parties right here.
Yeah, that's true.
Like we could get together and just watch a movie together and fuck on it if we wanted.
That's true. We certainly could do that.
Maybe we could do that.
Maybe we'll get
our girlfriends together and we'll just sit down and watch this shit together.
Yeah, I mean, like, I need to watch it again. I need to fucking experience it again.
Gross.
I need to wait. I can't do it again right now. I need to build my strength back up.
Those De Niro balls are calling your name, TJ.
The balls of De Niro Thulu. I don't know. So we got some. I have some commercials we could watch. I have Scotty's stuff about dieting here, medieval diets and stuff, and then Paul, you have some stuff about dinosaurs, I think. So
we've been going for. I know we had that little tap that's going to get cut out, but we're already an hour in. So I think that if we cover our three main topics, we can have those commercials as a backup if we feel like we want to pad it out. But
sure. Yeah.
I probably have the least amount of stuff. Like it's a discussion topic show, so we can discuss it ad nauseum. But
so what do you guys want? Dinosaurs or dieting?
Let's diverge. Let's go back in to the fucking ancient times of the Jurassic era, Paul, or I don't know when these.
Some of them were probably in the Jurassic area. Let's do that. So let me ask you guys a question real quick, and this I'm pretty sure you'll know the answer to this. What's the biggest animal that ever lived? Not flora, but fauna. The biggest animal that ever lived on the planet Earth, as far as we know.
I honestly believe it's the blue whale, but I could be totally wrong. So that's just I'm going to give you that answer.
That's what I always believe too. I believe it was a blue whale, but
you guys are correct. The largest animal, as far as we know, ever to live on the planet Earth is indeed the blue whale. It's a picture of one here. They are profoundly huge animals. But you have to understand that growth and size is different in the ocean. The same pressures are not on an animal's muscular and skeletal structure on land that are in the ocean. So the ocean actually allows for growth to larger sizes easier than land animals do. And when it comes to the biggest land animal that's ever existed, unfortunately, we don't know. We're still discovering dinosaurs. As early as 29 or as recently as 2019, another species of dinosaur was cataloged that a lot of scientists are saying is the biggest. But we'll go through some of these bad boys here. So dinosaurs were among our planet's most diverse land animals. They ranged from chicken-sized to the titanic sauropods that could weigh the same as an entire herd of African elephants, the largest land animals alive today. So when it comes to land animals today, the African elephant is by and large the heaviest and largest. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This animal that's on the screen here is Argentinosaurus, which is, you talk to a lot of paleontologists, they'll tell you this was the largest land animal that ever lived.
I wonder what country they found it in.
Argentina. So this is actually kind of a cool picture because you can see what they've actually found of the dinosaur. The bones that appear in white here, are what they've actually found of this beast,
and the rest they're just kind of filling in from
right. And they've got enough that they can, extrapolate out, from the structure. I mean, that's why these people study this. They've got a pretty good idea of the size of this animal, and it's pretty fucking huge. 75,400 kilograms. I hate that I had to pull a British thing. I don't know what that is in pounds, but
stupid fucking Brits.
So let's see. The first scientific description of a dinosaur dates to 1824, and paleontologists have faced the very difficult challenge of estimating their size. It's fine when the remains are more or less complete. The most complete T-Rex, incidentally, is Sioux, who was unearthed in 1990 in South Dakota, USA, and was around 90% intact. That's a really complete skeleton. Most dinosaurs that are cataloged on the basis of a hip bone and a toe bone and maybe a spine, part of their spine. Like, to find an almost complete dinosaur skeleton is very, very rare. So most of the species that we know about, we only have a few bones of them.
Oh, I know. People think, because you go to museums and you're like, oh, look, it's a T-Rex. It's like, if you actually go and look at a chart, though, because some of them actually will incorporate real bones, but it's a very tiny portion generally.
Right. So this is Argentinosaurus here. Once again, like a lot of paleontologists believe that this is the largest land animal that ever lived. It was long heralded the heaviest dinosaur. It's known from only a small number of bones found in Argentina in the early 90s. One vertebra, neck bone, was 1.5 meters or 5 feet 3 inches long. So just one neck bone of this animal is about the size of your average human, basically. It was indicative of a giant sauropod. So to estimate its full size, paleontologists compared it with the vertebrae and the skeletons of more complete members of the sauropod clade, namely Saltosaurus and Raptosaurus.
Whoa, what the fuck? Scientists are messed up, dude.
Yep.
So this is Saltosaurus and Raptosaurus.
Yep. I don't know if it's Raptosaurus, but it's definitely spelled Raptosaurus. It might be Rapetosaurus, maybe.
Let's hope.
But I think it's Raptosaurus. From this, the final weight of Argentinosaurus was estimated at about 100 tons or 220,462 pounds. So that's a big boy. That's a big fucking animal. That's an animal that if you stacked like fucking 10 elephants together, it would be smaller than that animal. You know what I mean? Like, that's fucking insane.
It's crazy to think of a creature that literally could just step on you. Like not even intending to kill you. You just like happen to be you're in its way. Crush.
If this creature stepped on you, it probably wouldn't even notice that it had done so.
Right. It'd be like, It'd be like maybe the equivalent of stepping on like a pebble or something for me. Like, oh, ow, that kind of hurt. Whatever. Keep going.
So the debate, like the footsteps of these prehistoric giants, inevitably has rumbled on since the beginning of paleontology. The most likely tallest dinosaur is this Sauroposeidon protellus. Sorry. Lived in the early Cretaceous. Looked very similar to this animal. This is another contender for the biggest and heaviest. A lot of paleontologists will tell you that Patagotitan majorum was the biggest thing that ever walked on land on this planet. This animal, it's like I said, it's so hard for them to tell whether this or our Argentinosaurus was bigger because they have so few bones of them. So that's why there's such a controversy when it comes.
It's crazy that it has such its legs seem so small for its body. Yeah.
I'm gonna send you guys a link to an image that of this animal, and I'll tell you what, this can really help put it in perspective for people. I'll send it to you real quick, Paul.
Sure.
I'm telling you, dude. When I saw this, it was like, holy shit! This really puts it in fucking perspective.
Are you gonna put it in the chat here or what?
Yeah, I'm pasting right now.
All right.
If it'll let me fucking do it. Paste. There we go.
Cool.
Yeah, when you see this shit, guys, it compares this animal to a Boeing 737. It has a human and an African elephant per scale.
Okay, let's see here. Let me get it pasted in. Oh, God damn it. USA Today, why you do this to me?
Yeah, stop it,
USA Today.
Open link in new tab. Not link. God damn it. Open image in new tab. I'm a boomer. Here we go. Hey, look at that. So yeah, here's I mean, yeah, this really does put it in perspective. This animal was the size of a fucking Boeing 737, basically. But it walked around on land.
Look at the human and look at the African elephant. The African elephant, it's like, that's like a child, basically. Like, oh, okay, that might be an animal that would actually notice if it had to move out of its way. You, the human, would be nothing.
If one of these animals turned around and just absent-mindedly quickly turned around and whipped its tail, it would just utterly destroy the elephant. Like, the elephant would probably be completely and utterly killed just by the impact of the tail accidentally hitting it. I mean, talk about a fucking giant. That's pretty much what so here's a kind of an artist representation of that animal. This is Patagonia gigantus or whatever the fuck we're looking at here. I love that, like, we're starting because, like, when I was a kid, dinosaurs were all gray. Do you remember that?
Uh-huh.
They all had gray skin, which makes no sense. Nothing in nature has gray skin, but these more modern representations of dinosaurs, especially since we figured out that a lot of them had feathers and shit.
Oh, they're so colorful now.
Yeah, they're starting to look way cool now. Like when I was a kid, Brontosaurus, which actually doesn't exist, by the way.
Yeah, that was like kind of a made up, like, or an amalgamation kind of thing.
Right. Brontosaurus was this dinosaur when I was a kid, and they found out that Brontosaurus was actually part of another group and blah, 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 and it really didn't exist as an animal. It was made up of bones from a couple of different types of sauropods or whatever it was. But they were always gray. Like, they always, like, were the color of the underbelly of this was basically what the entire dinosaur was, and lizards aren't colored like that. Like, lizards are colorful as shit. They're green and red and blue and fucking, they got crazy fucking colorful patterns. And why wouldn't the dinosaurs have, So I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, man. I love fucking. I when I first heard the dinosaurs had feathers, I guess there was kind of some rebellion in me against it, kind of like the people who had to accept that Pluto isn't a fucking planet, where it's like, man, but come on. Because you're kind of like married to that, especially, when you grew up with something, and I had like the little dinosaur figures and shit as a kid, and you'd make the T-Rex.
The fucking planet.
You make the T-Rex and the Stegosaurus fight, like, they're fighting.
Right.
And then you find out that they look nothing like that, and they had feathers, and they looked more like birds and shit. It's kind of like, oh man, no. But now seeing some of these new, like, contemporary fucking artist interpretations of what they might have looked like, and seeing like how cool some of the feathers actually, like that fucking like seeing like those the T-Rex, like what it looked like with feathers and its ferociousness and shit.
Right.
I mean, it looks pretty dope.
We'll take a look at some feathered dinosaurs here in a second. I wanted to show a picture of Mosasaurus here because it was bigger than even these other dinosaurs because, once again, it was a sea creature, so it was not constrained by the same rules that the land dinosaurs were and in terms of maximum size and feasibility of that. So a Mosasaurus, I mean, this thing is the biggest sea-dwelling dinosaur, still outstripped by the blue whale, but only just in terms of size, length, and weight. And this,
obviously,
unlike
fucking
a blue whale, it's
insanely scarier than a goddamn blue whale, too.
Yeah, it's not a baleen feeder. It's not a filter feeder. Blue whales have baleen, not teeth, and they filter krill out of the ocean. They can't bite you. This thing could eat a shark whole. Here it's pictured here with a size appropriate with a modern great white shark.
Right. So this is how Jaws meets his match, basically.
So if you're scared of running into a shark in the ocean, imagine if these fucking things were still around. There's a really cool scene in Jurassic World, which is a terrible movie, of them feeding a mosasaur. I don't know if you remember it from Jurassic World, but there's a scene where everybody's sitting around.
I refused to watch it, but it was in the trailer, so I did see.
There's a scene where people at Jurassic World are sitting around in an arena that looks like SeaWorld, if you've ever been to that, where the orcas, are shown. And they've got like this goat dangling above the fucking water, and this thing comes up out and snatches it. And it's just so fucking huge that it dwarfs the arena it's in, And I don't know if they poured a little hot sauce on its size in that movie, but I don't think they did. Because from what I read, this thing was fucking enormous. Like I said, bigger than the land creatures that we just showed you. So I didn't want to spend too much time on aquatic dinosaurs, but this one right here, definitely the most scary one that I could find.
Yeah, it's a fucking
here's your
monster,
feathered
sure.
dinosaur.
Yeah.
This is an interesting one. Because at first dinosaurs discovered its claws, and they thought that, oh my God, like this thing must have belonged to a giant dinosaur. But this dinosaur, it is huge. You can see the human next to it.
It's a big motherfucker, but it's not. Its claws are outsized for its body for sure.
So it has the largest claws, not even by body size, just period, in the dinosaur kingdom. It is called. Let me see. Let me find the name of this fucking thing. This is from Mongolia. It's Therizinosaurus. It had claws measuring up to 3 feet long along their outer edge. Estimates of its total body size using only its claw dimensions would suggest an enormous creature. However, partial skeletal remains revealed that its claws were just disproportionately huge. It has the longest dinosaur claws. Like I said,
its claws look like it's about as long as that human body. So you got to figure those things are at least like 6 feet. They're nearly 6 feet long.
Yes. So this beast was fucking insane. Feathered dinosaur, and a predatory one at that. Maybe not. It looks like it ate plants, but those claws are not for plants, I would imagine.
Yeah, those claws look like they could fuck your day up pretty bad.
So I'd never actually heard of this dinosaur, and I thought this was really cool. Just a dinosaur that had just outsized fucking claws. Can you imagine seeing one of these things roaming around in the wild? I mean, fuck, dude.
Dude, it would be like it'd be so cool to be able to travel back in time and see that, but also just terrifying too. Like,
dude, there's no fucking way, dude. We could not exist with these animals. Look how much smaller than we are than them. There's no way.
I mean, like our ancestors were even smaller than this.
They would. This thing would fucking just like it could fucking skewer a bunch of humans on its claw like a fucking
the common ancestor for the Cretaceous period here or something. I mean, like, or whatever mammals started appearing like in greater numbers, like they were tiny.
Yeah, they were like little voles or whatever.
Yeah, we're like hiding in the fucking ground and fucking eating worms and shit. That these motherfuckers,
We were beneath the notice of most of these creatures for sure, in terms of our common ancestor that was around with them. What about flying dinosaurs? This is another one that I didn't know about that fucking blows my mind. This is actually the largest flying animal that's ever existed on the planet, as far as we know.
Crazy.
Quetzalcoatlus, named after the god. I think it was an Incan or Mayan. No, I'm probably wrong. It's probably the third one that I'm not thinking of. It's Inca, Maya, and Aztecs. It was Aztec. Okay, thank you. The Aztec god, the feathered god Quetzalcoatl, named after that, obviously. So let me
also depicted in the classic B movie, Q the Winged Serpent. So
exactly, that is true. So when the king of the flying reptile, Quetzalcoatlus, these supersized pterosaurs were the largest flying creatures that ever existed, as far as we know. They stood as tall as a giraffe on the ground, and when they spread their wings, they had the wingspan of an F-16 fighter jet.
That's fucking crazy.
Just an insanely huge animal. Here's another picture of a dude standing next to an actual scale replica of this beast.
Why is its head so fucking huge for its body?
Because the things that the fish that it were feeding on were huge.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It needed to fucking be able to swoop down and so when I looked into this thing more than likely fed mostly on fish from the oceans. I'm just large extinct fish.
It seems like the motherfucking I don't know. Looking here, the wingspan doesn't seem as like. I guess it's like unfolds and shit, but it seems like the wings are so small for that big ass head that it's got.
I mean, if we go back to this is you see completely.
Yeah, you see the wingspan is much larger there than it looks necessarily in that standing.
I mean, you can
picture.
see meters. It's got a 10-meter wingspan, which
right?
Is consistent with a fighter jet.
It's crazy wide, yeah.
So this thing was basically a fighter jet, but a predator that would swoop down on you and snatch you up and carry your lifeless corpse back to its nest to feed to its chicks.
Dude, TJ, you'd be a fat little snack for it, man.
I
If
know.
you lived in the same time period, that thing would gulp your ass down in a heartbeat. And why wouldn't it?
So when it comes to these types of dinosaurs and shit, like I'm such a little boy still. Like these things are the coolest things to me. And it was when it came to the triple threat today. It's what was on my mind today. It's often what's on my mind. Like I'll wake up some days and I'll be like, "Fucking dinosaurs, man! They're so fucking cool, bro." And that's how I woke up today. So I thought, you know what? I'm gonna bring some dinosaurs to show you guys. So there you go.
Bring it on down.
I mean,
it's the biggest dinosaurs to ever live. Kind of interesting to look at. It's also cool to look at the small ones as well. So maybe I'll do that for the next one.
The tiniest dinosaurs.
The cool thing is, I mean, that's just a part of the history of the Earth. And I mean, there's so many interesting time periods. And the dinosaur one was just like, they had this kind of interesting other life form that was dominant, and they were dominated for fucking millions upon millions of years. So, I mean, I think it's actually just a lot of people have a curiosity about that. I mean, look at these museums that are filled with dinosaur shit. It's for a reason.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I definitely like share TJ's desire to have some kind of technology that would at least allow us to get footage of the, like maybe we send some kind of
like a probe or something,
camera.
You know?
Yeah, like a probe back, something that can fly around that would be beneath the notice of these things and get some cool shots of them. You know what I mean?
I suspect if that was possible, we would be so wrong in so many ways. But I mean,
wouldn't that be exciting to like see like, oh wow, that's what they really looked like, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. I mean, I'm not, guys. No, by any stretch of the imagination, I'm not saying like, hey, you want to send this dinosaur probe back and see cool ass, 4K dinosaur footage? Like, no, not for me. I'm gonna pass.
I mean, who knows? Maybe one day we'll be able to do some Jurassic Park shit and bring these things back and not have them rampage out of control and kill us. Like in a, just in a kind of a capacity that we keep them as zoo type of animals, and we only do it once or twice so that it's not like,
nature finds a way, Paul.
Yeah, nature finds a way. It's true. You've got plants in this building that'll kill you if you eat them. I mean, how can you possibly understand what's going to go on in the extinct?
Also, it was never explained. It was never really explained how they brought back extinct plants, because
that one was left out.
Mosquitoes aren't eating those, so.
Bark beetles. Beetles.
The fossilized bark beetle. Yeah,
of course.
Grasshoppers.
But they said that even so, like the DNA from the, like, even if you had that happen, like the DNA would be way too degraded to.
Well, that's why we had to get frogs to fill in the gaps in the code, TJ. We picked an animal that changes sexes on the fly to fill in the genetic code on our dinosaurs that we're keeping all female so they don't go out of control breeding. Our scientists didn't foresee any problems with this. Why amphibian DNA, which is really far from lizard DNA, would be used to fill in the gaps in the genetic code of a giant lizard remains unexplained. Why not a Komodo dragon or an anole?
Also, I mean, like, that movie goes out of its way multiple times to remind you that dinosaurs evolved into birds. So why not use bird DNA to fill in the gaps?
Or lizard DNA. Like, there are lizards shit on this planet that are really closely related to dinosaurs. Frogs are not, as far as I understand.
I don't know, man.
Kind of split off from dinosaurs a long time ago. So
I would say that's accurate as far as my understanding is concerned. But whatever. I mean, it's a fucking dumb movie. I mean, it's not I mean, whatever.
Dun, 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 dun,
that's why I pooped on it so hard in my review. I got a lot of shit, but Jurassic Park is good to watch. Got some great effects, but it's a dumb fucking movie.
It is. Like, I mean, admittedly so. Of course. I mean, I'm not going to say it's like an intellectual.
Yeah, there's a lot of really inexplicable stupidity in that movie. Like, let's do the first live test of our fucking park with my grandchildren with a hurricane heading our way. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know.
how about
Man.
no? How about we wait till a couple weeks later? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do it then. I don't know.
Oh, that's
Let's hire this
interesting,
big fat guy that's obviously a fucking
So,
total criminal.
Yeah, the
and let
Dennis
him-
Nedry shit is kind of dumb. I mean, I still love that movie though. I can't fucking.
It's a good movie.
I'm not gonna
but,
say
I mean,
sh-
it's pretty stupid.
It's a dumb movie. But yeah, because it's dumb doesn't mean I don't like it. There's
It's
plenty of
dumb.
movies I like.
It's acceptably dumb for what it is. It's just like, hey, let's bring back dinosaurs into modern day. I mean, like you gotta
I-
like
and I get
suspend that
that.
disbelief a little bit.
Dude, it's a blockbuster B movie. It really is. But it's beautiful.
Speaking of that movie, Cue the Winged Serpent, by the way, interesting fact about that movie. I don't even know how many people have fucking seen the thing, but it has a cult following, so maybe some people have.
I've seen it.
Larry Cohen, the guy who directed that movie, really like he's kind of like in the same vein as what's that other fucking guy that we always talk about, Roger Corman.
Yeah.
So he shot this movie, right? He got all this aerial footage together and shit. And then he goes to some special effects guys like, I need a serpent, like a winged serpent in these shots and stuff. And they're like, okay, so we're going to have to help you plan these shots to compose them to where, we can put the creature in, and you're going to have to shoot this like this in terms of this to get the right proportionality. And here's how you have to shoot this. He's like, you don't get it. I already shot all the fucking footage. You just got to put the monster in. They're like, oh, well, that's really not how it works. He's like, well, you got to make it work. And they're like, okay, we'll try. And they tried.
Yeah, you can tell. It's definitely a good schlock monster movie, though.
It's honestly pretty fun. Anyway, this is what Scotty pulled. This is the first article here is what the average diet was like in medieval times.
Cool.
Yeah. I pray you guys.
So
I mean,
we might have some misconceptions about what people in medieval times ate, and let's take a look. So medieval people used almond milk. See, I didn't know that.
I did not know that.
Soy boys. Bunch of soy boys back in medieval times.
But there's no soy in it, though.
That doesn't matter.
Yeah, I know.
Soy boy is...
Almond milk is a soy boy drink, dude.
Well, I mean, fair enough. Fair enough on
milk,
that.
dude.
It may be a trendy alt milk popular among vegetarians and vegans, aka soy boys, in the 21st century. But during medieval times, almond milk was prepared for a pretty practical reason. When the church declared a fast day, for example, people couldn't eat meat or animal milk, so cooks turned to almond or walnut milk as an alternative, and even used it to make butter. It was also handy because it could be stored with no danger of degeneration, unlike animal milk, which spoils quickly. Almond milk was such a common ingredient, in fact, that all existing cookbooks from the period call for it.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, like almonds are like their nuts in general are filled with like fat.
Yeah.
So that's really what you need to make milk. So, you know what I mean? It's pretty cool. I did not know that. I assumed that they were milking goats and cows and shit all the time back in the day.
But all these fucking people crying soy boy. We're out in the fucking fields. Like, let's go gather some almonds so we can survive our fast day. And make
There
almond
was fast food in medieval times.
milk. But you guys didn't know that shit.
Knights weren't riding their horses up to little windows and buying cheap food after a day of long jousting or anything, but there was a form of fast food in the Middle Ages. There weren't any Big Macs or White Castle burgers to be had, but people did enjoy meat pies, hot cakes, pancakes, and wafers prepared for immediate consumption. Medieval fast food joints, like modern ones, had pretty poor reputations. Researchers at Penn State say that the common view of them was that they were dishonest and dirty, and that some made meat pies from tainted rabbit, geese, and offal, or tried to pass beef pastries off as venison.
Yeah, so basically fast food joints haven't changed.
No.
Like I won't claim to know that like this existed, but I've heard of some of those like foods that were mentioned that were commonly eaten. So yeah, I mean it makes sense that people would need, even in medieval times, something quick and hot that's cooked to order to grab. And
so just here's a nasty little meat pie that probably has some really substandard shit in it, but here you go.
It's made of goose assholes, but whatever, it'll fill your.
Yeah, don't
go.
worry. We loaded up with fucking butter and fat, so it tastes all right. Peasants ate a ton of bread and grains. That's
So this I know. This I knew, yeah.
So this is the opposite of paleo, right? Most people in medieval Europe ate 2 to 3 pounds of bread or grains per day, including up to a gallon of low alcohol ale. Well, that's because ale was a lot safer to drink back then than water. Grains such as wheat, rye, oats, and barley were boiled into porridge, made into bread, and ale, alas, only occasionally paired with poultry, pork, or beef. For the record, 2.5 pounds of rye bread is a whopping 3,000 calories, and a gallon of ale is an additional 1,500 calories. But considering that work days in the summer for a medieval peasant lasted as long as 12 hours, it was pretty easy to burn through all that bread.
So basically, they had to take carbs, dude. It's like carbs, occasional protein.
They had a super high calorie diet because they had to work for fucking 12 hours a day every day.
And it sucks that they were forced to do so on so little protein, because that's really what your body to fortify itself for a long day's work like that. It looks like I'm cutting out again. I'm going to leave the fucking shit.
Okay.
Am I cutting out for you guys or not?
A little bit, but not as bad as before. But
okay.
you might.
I'm just going to leave the call and fucking come back in a second.
Yeah, you might want to do a little reboot or whatever. Raw fruit and vegetables were not to be trusted.
Hell no, dude. Can't trust those motherfuckers.
Eating exclusively raw food is a modern trend that would have confounded medieval folks. Researchers from the British Library Board say, in fact, all fruit and vegetables were cooked. It was believed that raw fruit and vegetables caused disease. From 1500, for example. Oh, sorry. So the book of, the book of carving, I guess, from 1500, for example, warned against salads and raw fruits in particular. Beware of green salettes and raw fruits, for they will make you sovereign sick. Okay.
Huh?
Beware of green. Oh, they have a translation of like, they will make your master sick. Oh, okay. Sovereign. Gotcha. Fresh herbs were fair game for medicine and cooking, but other greenery needed the disease cooked out of it. So they didn't trust
think about this.
Raw shit.
Well, think about this. A lot of times when people get these diseases now, like a lot of leafy greens and vegetables will get you sick because, they get contaminated with water from animal feces or human feces. And there was no modern sanitation during those times, so your shit just got thrown out. And it probably got thrown into fields.
Leafy greens, mass-produced and mass-farmed leafy greens are still some of the most dangerous foods that you can eat.
Oh, yeah.
As far as foodborne illness goes, because they are collected from all over the country and thrown into bins and shredded up into bags. So you're getting heads of lettuce that were grown in 3 different states when you buy one of those pre-shredded bags of lettuce. And it's all been mixed in. And maybe one farm, was dirty as fuck and had a bunch of pigs shit all over it that had a disease. You know what I mean?
True.
You end up, it is. I mean, people bring home a bag of greens, they don't wash them properly, and they end up fucking sick as dogs.
Yeah.
So
that's what I'm saying. So, you're like, really what they're saying is like, you probably could eat some of this shit, but like, you better off if you found something like, an apple tree in the middle of an orchard, as opposed to, hey, the fucking shit we're growing right by our house.
Suckling pig was basically medieval lobster, and so was sow's womb.
Yum.
The stereotype of a whole roasted pig or boar as part of a medieval feast is actually historically accurate. Pigs were considered one of the most important sources of meat and fat in medieval Europe. One of the most sought-after types of pig, the suckling pig, which is just like it sounds, a baby pig that was probably suckling on its mama's teat just hours before it was roasted. It was considered to be a delicacy akin to how modern folks think of lobster or veal, which is basically suckling cow when you think about it. Historians, in fact, say the meat of the suckling young in general was in high esteem at the time. The mama pig was considered a delicacy too, or at least part of her was. Historians say sow's womb was a delicacy that appeared in medieval cookbooks. We don't really do too much womb eating these days.
I wonder how sow's womb tastes.
I mean, apparently our medieval ancestors fucking loved it.
I mean, they ate some other shit that was pretty good too. Like meat pies are pretty tasty when they're not made with goose assholes.
I mean, even when they are, honestly.
I'll tell you what, though, man. I mean, like, fuck, guys. Like, if meat's a rare treat back then, you're using every part of the animal.
Eating breakfast was for gluttons and laborers. Kind of the opposite ends of the spectrum there. You might think that breakfast is the most important meal of the day, but according to medieval brainiac priest Thomas Aquinas, you're wrong and you're a big old glutton. Aquinas thought whatever, eating too soon in the day was one way to commit the deadly sin of gluttony. Breakfast basically was an affront against God and the self. Whatever. Thomas Aquinas was a fucking stupid cocksucker.
Yeah, he's a
I know.
douchebag.
You know what?
Just cement it even further. Don't
Thomas
eat
Aquinas,
breakfast.
if you don't want breakfast, that's fine, dude. You don't have to do breakfast. Not everyone likes breakfast. I don't do it most
eat
days.
breakfast.
I eat an occasional breakfast, but usually I don't.
Dude, if I eat a breakfast, it's something real small. Like I'll have half a bagel or an English muffin or something like that.
So Paul,
I
at
just
the very most, wants a modest breakfast, but he usually doesn't eat breakfast at all. And I typically don't eat breakfast. If I like breakfast foods, but I tend to eat them late at night if I'm going to eat them.
I love breakfast for dinner, dude. That's one of my favorite things.
But you know what? If you want to eat breakfast, it's not against God or some nonsense. Just eat the fucking breakfast if that's what you're into. The ideal
dude, fucking Scotty, man.
What do you do now?
Damn you, Scotty. He said Waffle House. I'm so like, I got to tell you guys.
Yeah.
The quarantine has not been that hard on me. It's probably not shocking to you guys to know that. Yeah. I'm a bit of a hermit. I'm a bit of a homebody. And so this is like, living like this is not psychologically destructive to me as it is for some people. But I will tell you, I am so sad that I haven't been able to go to a Waffle House in like 4 fucking months, dude.
Yeah.
That was like at least twice a month thing for me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was like your thing.
Month.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now I can't go.
Yeah.
I can't go to Waffle House. And they don't do DoorDash at Waffle House.
Yeah.
So I'm fucked,
Yeah, I haven't been. I think since quarantine began, I know you're allowed to go to restaurants again, but I've only been to 2 restaurants since all this happened. I think I went to a Mexican restaurant where I was able to eat outside.
Yeah.
And I went to, on the same day I took Chelsea to the zoo, we actually went to a restaurant in New Orleans called Gus's Fried Chicken. And,
I'm telling you, man, like,
and that was really good. But
I've been like, dude, I've left my house to grab things at the store. I've left my house to go to a doctor's office and go and have a doctor's appointment a couple of times. And that's about it, dude.
Yeah.
Like I've literally like, I just don't like, I use DoorDash if I'm hungry for something that I can't cook. I use Instacart to get my groceries. I don't leave unless there's something I got to go grab real quick. And, so.
Yeah,
fucked,
I haven't left too much either. I mean, I've left a few times, but for the most part,
haven't chilled with you guys one time since it started. Like, we haven't kicked back one fucking time in the same room together.
Even with Scotty, Scotty's come over to my house a handful of times, but it's never, we haven't really socially visited too much at all. I've seen my parents a few times socially, but it's always there's always that thought in the back of my head, fuck, what if, But
it sucks, dude.
And I mean, even the fact that even if I do get the fucking stupid COVID shit, the fact that you can get it twice, just fuck. So even if I get it, I can't be well, at least I got that over with, because you can get it again.
Right. Or you can get it and not even know you have it and pass it to somebody who dies from it.
Right. And that's horrible too. So here's another one. People ate whatever meat they could get their hands on. I think it's fairly self-explanatory, honestly. I mean, it's hard to come by, especially if you're a peasant, which it says right here, fairly hard to come by for peasants in medieval Europe. But even the rich weren't picky when it came to what kind of flesh they were ripping into. Records of the time indicate that people ate starlings, vultures, gulls, herons, cormorants, swans, cranes, peacocks, capons, chickens, dogfish, porpoises, seals, whale, haddock, hedgehogs, cod, salmon, sardines, lamprey, eels, crayfish, and oysters. I mean, a lot of those things I've eaten, so whatever.
I mean, some of those things are still popular today, but we don't typically eat seabirds anymore.
Yeah, we don't really eat too many hedgehogs or seagulls.
Would you care for some fried vulture? How about that?
I mean, I'd try it.
Carrion birds, I would try it too. I mean, I'm sure.
I don't know, man. They eat garbage, dude.
I know. That's true. They probably don't taste that great.
So do pigs.
Yeah, that's
Pigs
true.
eat fucking literal slop, dude, and they taste fucking
I don't know.
delicious.
They still taste good. Yeah, they still taste good. I guess.
Vulture might be a fucking delicacy, dude. Who knows?
One day in 1467, 6,000 guests of Archbishop Neville of York went through 104 oxen, 6 wild bulls, 1,000 sheep, 304 calves, 400 swans, 2,000 geese, 1,000 capons, 2,000 pigs, 104 peacocks, and over 1,350 other birds, 500 stags, bucks, and roes, 1,500 venison pies, 608 pikes and breams, whatever the fuck those are, 12 porpoises and seals, and washed all that down with 300 caskets of ale and 1,000 caskets of wine, which, yeah, that sounds like a hell of a fucking party, dude.
A pike is a big, like, predatory fish. I assume a bream is
probably similar, yeah.
But yeah, like, that must have been a fucking feast to end all feasts.
Dude. Oh my god, dude! I wish I could.
The meat of every beast that lives within 1,000 miles of here is available to you.
Bring it on, dude! Just bring that shit on.
Birds and humble pie were Christmas dinner favorites.
Still are.
Christmas dinner during the medieval period wasn't that far off from what we enjoy today. They roasted a variety of birds, depending on what they could afford. The rich ate goose, woodcock, or even swan if the king allowed it. They were a bit fancier and richer with their seasonings of the bird. A saffron and butter rub was a very popular preparation. I mean, that sounds pretty good to me. Yeah. Poor folk ate geese too, but it would have to spend a whole day's wages to get it. Both the rich and poor ate so-called humble pie, the source of the expression eat humble pie. I had no idea, which was simply the edible entrails of a deer or other animal made into a pie, and likely came from the French word for deer on entrails, nombles. It's like, I don't know about that one. I don't know if I want to eat a deer entrail pie. Yeah, I can see why they called it humble pie instead of deer gut pie.
See, I'm a pretty squeamish eater, but I look at myself and I think, like, if I were born back then and I was raised eating fucking goose guts and shit, I'd probably think humble pie was pretty fucking tasty.
I mean, it sounds like they liked it, so whatever, you know. I mean, it probably tasted all right. Beans changed everything.
Nice.
Umberto Eco argues that when the cultivation of legumes began to spread in the 10th century, it was a game changer for Europe, that the humble bean is basically to thank for Western civilization surviving and prosperity throughout the Middle Ages and into today. It's a bold statement, but Eco makes a strong case. Working people were able to eat more protein, which, Paul, you were just commenting on how they lacked that when they were working those fields on all those carbs. As a result, they became more robust, lived longer, created more children, and repopulated a continent. The European population doubled within a few hundred years after beans hit the scene, and Eco thinks it's because poor people were finally able to tend the fields properly. Prior to the widespread cultivation of beans, laborers were struggling to get protein. The poor in these remote Middle Ages did not eat meat unless they managed to raise a few chickens or engaged in poaching, which is basically stealing the animals from the lord of the land.
Right.
Baking guilds were serious business. Of course, bread being so fucking crucial, you can imagine that anyone who can actually bake.
There's this game, a strategy video game that I play called The Guild. I play the Guild 3 and the Guild 4, but it's a medieval game where it's kind of like open as to what you choose to do. And one of the things you can do is start a baking guild and become a baker that supplies your town with bread. I mean, we just heard that they ate up to 2 pounds of fucking bread.
So if you're the bread maker in the town, I mean, you enjoy a high status. Bakers that joined the guild paid dues that made them members of an exclusive club of bakers that worked in given regions. No rogue bakers allowed. I'm sure that if you tried, they would fucking come and fucking beat the shit out of you or kill you. Those dues could pay off down the road if anything ever happened to your business or your family, like insurance, basically. These guilds also fiercely protected their family recipes of master bakers, master biker, and made sure that no one was able to open bakeries using stolen ingredients, or stolen secrets, rather.
That basically sounds like how businesses always operated. Competition.
Like McDonald's and its special sauce recipe and shit.
Hey, it's the bitch that Dracula stole his hairdo from.
Yeah.
Desserts were interspersed throughout the meal. We need to bring that back. If you were lucky enough to get sweets in the Middle Ages, then you were likely enjoying them at a feast for the middle class, in quotations because there really wasn't a middle class like we think of, and nobility. Unlike modern meals, where dishes come in courses with one main dish, medieval feasts featured many dishes served simultaneously with every course, with desserts interspersed throughout as a way to pause and refresh the palate between them. One such dessert was known as subtlety, basically pronounced subtlety, I guess, which was an elaborate ornamental offering made from dough or marzipan, often depicting a thematically appropriate scene of some sort. Think medieval cake boss, if you dare.
Not to take it off topic, but I guess it isn't because we talked about it earlier and you mentioned it, that Dracula hairstyle.
Yeah.
One of the cool things that I learned, little trivia pieces that I just remembered that I learned about that movie was they had a completely different costume designer at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And she had an assistant that as she went along in her spare time was just sketching, like different costumes for the movie, just absent-mindedly. Coppola saw her sketches, fired the original costume designer and had her do it. And she was inspired mostly by geishas when it came to the designs for Dracula's older, the big poofy hair with the braid.
Yeah.
That was like a geisha braid. And he wore basically like kimonos.
Yeah, that's true. He did.
It was all very like Japanese inspired, and Coppola loved it. Because it looked so foreign and, it made him stand out so much from the Europeans in the movie. So that's the other Europeans in the film.
That's crazy.
So that's kind of cool.
I've seen so many people make fun of that haircut in that movie, but I love it. So I don't know why that.
I don't know that haircut is actually possible with your normal hair. I'm pretty sure you'd have to get to get that much hair.
You're probably right about that. But I love it. I just love it nonetheless. Science shows Richard III ate like a rich dude. Well, he was a rich dude, so
yeah. I mean, why is that shocking?
I mean, he looks like a gangster in that picture right there.
Yeah, yeah. It looks like he's about to. He's taking off his. Is he putting on a ring? He's about to pimp slap you.
Yeah, he's putting on his pinky ring so he can fucking dent your forehead with it.
Medieval diets were heart healthier than modern diets. Well, that's
not a shocker.
I mean,
they barely had enough food to eat, and they ate a bunch of vegetables and like little tiny portions because that's all they had. So yeah.
Sure, they didn't have modern medicine on their side, and that whole Black Death thing, blah blah. But they had a diet that was actually better for the human heart than most people eat today. Dr. Roger Henderson told the BBC that his research indicates that medieval man was much less at risk for coronary heart disease and diabetes than we are today. It's mainly due to the lack of refined sugar in the medieval diet and the heart-healthy exercise that most people had to go through their daily labor. So basically way less sedentary and way less refined sugars.
They lived more like people were evolved to live. So they were healthier in that sense.
Dr. Henderson even says the medieval diet is maybe a better model for modern folk than the much celebrated Mediterranean diet of the Romans.
Cool. Yeah. Interesting.
So here's another thing Scotty pulled. 9 charts that show why America is fat, sick, and tired.
And then you know what?
I'm all 3 of those. So this will help me.
Calorie breakdown madness. According to the USDA, nearly 1,000 calories a day out of a 2,775 daily calorie diet is attributed to added fats and sweeteners. In comparison, dairy, fruits, and vegetables only contribute 424 calories. Our priorities for food are simply out of balance. So this is like the typical calorie expenditure, I guess, of a person living today, where sweeteners represent a huge calorie block, and added fats and oils and dairy fats represent a huge block of calories, and grains and stuff.
Well, you're looking at sweeteners, that's 400 calories. You're looking at added fats, oils, and dairy fats. I mean, it's 1,000 calories a day just from that.
So I guess that's bad.
Yeah, that is bad.
That's all bad, dude.
So 45% increase in grain consumption from when? From
it's like
1962
to 2003.
Just from like the 60s to the early 2000s is probably, I don't know if we can assume that it's gone at the same rate, but it's probably not changed at the very least. As of 2000, Americans were consuming nearly 200 pounds of grain per year. the vast majority from wheat flour. It's important to note that while we are consuming considerably more wheat, we must take into account that it isn't the same wheat we once ate. Today, according to the Journal of Trace Elements in Medicine and Biology, the mineral density of wheat has dramatically declined in the last 20 years.
So you basically have to eat more to get the same thing.
Weird. Does it explain why? Oh, here we go.
Because it's like treated, right? Like they bleach it and they strip some of the fucking nutrients out of it in the processing process, and it's made like less healthy. By
I guess this
process.
guy is saying GMOs, which I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of anti-GMO sentiment out there, but from my understanding, a lot of it is based on pretty shoddy science. Researchers believe that there's a significant increase in the number of individuals with celiac disease and gluten intolerance as a result of nutritionally bankrupt wheat, as well as the dramatic increase in its consumption. In addition to wheat, our diets high in other grains put us at risk for tooth decay, phytic acid, naturally found in nuts, seeds, legumes, and grains, and added to many commercially available breads and whole grain products, can affect absorption of magnesium, calcium, and zinc. Chart 3, American prescription medication use. So here's a chart about here's age and years, sex, and race and ethnicity.
And this really comes from the CDC. It says, according to the Center of Disease Control, 48.5% of Americans have used at least one prescription drug in the past 30 days, and 21.7% have used 3 or more prescription drugs. The most frequently prescribed drugs are
analgesics
and
analgesics
and hyperlipidemic agents.
Those are like I'm on those. So
statins.
Yeah, statins, things that are meant to thin your blood and reduce the cholesterol and fat in it.
Scott,
I have a problem with this one. Antidepressants and anti-diabetic medications.
Yeah.
Not on either one of those currently, but I'm definitely on an analgesic.
How about you, Scott? You on any drugs? You on any prescription drugs?
No.
No? Drug free?
What about you, TJ? You got any prescription?
I'm not drug free.
I am on a prescription drug.
I'm on. I take. I'm on quite like the fucking regiment. Honestly, I take a number of pills a day. I have 2 pills that I take in the morning, and then I take another of one of the same pills at night, along with 2 other pills.
Shit. I only have one. I only have one 4 prescription drug at this point. I'm on. I forget what it's called, but I have my thyroid underproduces.
Right.
I actually have it's not hyperthyroidism. It's hypothyroidism, which is just like an underactive thyroid. It's actually kind of strange for the West. It's kind of rare.
You know what? That might be. I mean, if that actually is true, that might be one of the reasons why you are fatter.
Yeah, it can contribute to that.
It can contribute to that legitimately. Damn, so you actually might have so you're telling me you actually might have a legit reason for being fat? No, that's crazy.
No, he doesn't.
No, I'm
sure
he's
fat because he said
I know mainly, but that can contribute a little bit
long enough to know why he's fat, dude.
I mean, I agree with you, Paul.
But it's probably a mitigating. Mitigating.
It doesn't help.
It might exacerbate things a little. Is what I'm trying to say.
My hypothyroidism forces me.
Well, no, if he said like that,
I Oreos at night.
Median daily vegetable intake among adults in the United States. So this is they're basically saying we've seen a decrease in the amount of vegetables and fruits people eat.
Wow, look at where I'm from and where I live.
Yep, 2
different worlds, baby.
Yeah. So you see, in like Louisiana is one of the lowest states. Like we don't. Definitely. Dude, I'll never forget it. We were at Copeland's. It's a restaurant around here with one of Steve's friends named Kurt, who's no longer alive. But he ordered his food and stuff, and they're like, "Yeah, what do you want on your salad?" He's like, "Salad. I don't care for no salad." You know what I mean? He's just like, the idea of eating plants to him was like, I don't do that shit.
Anytime I've ever talked to anyone from Louisiana about salads that I know was from the state, they're like, I don't eat fucking rabbit food. Like some version of that has come out of their mouths. Like, no fucking way. Like, I'm gonna eat.
Like
what?
not only
A
do not
vegetable?
only do they not want it, but they're incensed by the idea of
Yes.
it. Like, I don't want no goddamn fucking salad. Consumption of sugar has skyrocketed, unsurprisingly. You see from the 1920s to 2005.
I mean, I know a lot of this too is linked to soda. Like
Oh, yeah.
soda accounts for such a profound amount of this line. I mean, other things too, obviously, but soda is something that people don't think of as a sweet, and they drink it all fucking day, and it's basically just sugar.
Yeah, high fructose corn syrup, of course.
I mean, how can you not think of soda as being like a sweet thing, though?
Today-
I don't know how you could.
Everything
American
needs to be
dude, I
super
used
sweet.
to-
Even foods we don't tend to think of as sweet. Traditionally, wheat-based breads, for example, contain sugar. While sugar is
Sure, I can
important
see
to fermentation and getting yeast to activate, the next time you reach for a loaf of bread of honey whole wheat, check the label. It may surprise you. Each slice has 3 grams of sugar, sourced from both honey and refined sugar. My favorite natural sweetener, raw honey, whatever, blah, 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 blah. That still has fucking sugar in it. Don't kid yourself. Unfortunately, food manufacturers do not have to separate added sugar from naturally occurring sugar in foods. Most foods have some level of natural sugar, and in balance, they are healthy for you. Food labels only have to disclose the total sugars per serving and don't break down added sugars from naturally occurring sugars. Added sugars come in many forms, so look for the labels that include cane juice, corn sweetener, corn syrup, dextrose, fructose, high fructose corn syrup, invert sugar, maltose, lactose, sucrose, white sugar, corn syrup solids, malt syrup, and anhydrous dextrose. So that's all the labels they use to hide sugar.
It's got sugar. Yeah, have
That
some more
first
sugar.
one, that cane juice shit. That's
Yeah.
what like hipster sodas were made with for a while. You remember that?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
Dr. Rosenthal's cane sugar root beer or
Well,
whatever the fuck.
one of
Like
the
it was better for you.
Yeah, one of the things that happened, interestingly enough, is because all of this stuff about high fructose corn syrup, people started to convince themselves that like pure cane sugar is like, wow. Like maybe from a taste perspective, that might be something you prefer, but like from a health perspective, that's not even remotely better. It's exactly the same.
I mean, when it comes to the shit on this list, as far as I understand, and I'm no dietitian, high fructose corn syrup is the worst thing on this list. Like if you're gonna drop one thing out of your diet sugar wise, it should be that ultra refined corn syrup, because that is in
dude.
everything.
Well, Let me tell you, Paul, that's one thing I will not fucking stand at my house. It's like, look, some of this other shit I guarantee you is in my fucking cabinet, but high fructose corn syrup, I told Taylor, I'm like, no, I don't want it. If I see ketchup with it, I won't even like nope, I don't even want ketchup, because like McDonald's and places like that, I just wait until I get home and I use the ketchup there. I just eat it without it, man. I cannot fucking stand anything with high fructose corn syrup. It just doesn't sound, I mean, I know it might sound like fucking, like how can you tell, but you can definitely tell the difference if you stop eating it.
Interesting. I don't think I have too much with high fructose corn syrup anymore, but I probably did prior to being
Because it's
on a
loaded.
diet.
It's loaded and down in your diet. I guarantee you.
Yeah, probably my ketchup would probably be the one place you'd still find it, honestly. But I don't really eat too much ketchup. So basically, this just goes on to say that like 1 in 3 American adults are pre-diabetic and stuff, and obviously that's not a great thing. So chart 6, increase in high hydrogenated oils and decrease in saturated fats. So we see,
Dude, you know what hydrogenated oil made me think of?
No.
What?
That stupid little song that he comes up with in Death to Smoochie. Fresh from the soil, no hydrogenous oil, sweetened with juice for an energy boost. Yay! He wants to make the cookies all healthy, but they're disgusting and the kids hate them.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Dude, that's a movie that like, that movie's a Rorschach test. Because
yeah, it really is.
You can really kind of
people interpret it tells you a lot about a person.
Yeah, like people who are like, that movie fucking sucks. I'm just like, I probably don't have anything in common with you. You got to go. Sorry.
Yeah, it's true. I've met people that say that fucking Death to Smoochie is shitty, and they're almost uniformly shitty people. So
yeah, at least by my standards. So
Dude,
fuck off.
I don't know how anyone doesn't love Death to Smoochie, dude. I fucking love that movie.
Dude, that movie is
Fucking love
fucking
that movie.
great. And it's like, there's so many people that think it sucks, and it even has like, it's even rated shit. I mean, man, that movie is an underrated fucking masterpiece.
Dude, I will tell you, that movie is 100% Rainbow Randolph to me.
I know.
Oh,
dude.
God, he's awesome.
Movie, dude, that may be one of Robin Williams, and he had an illustrious career, but that may be my favorite Robin Williams performance of all time.
Oh, he was great in that
It's
fucking
up
movie.
there.
Dude. I love it. I love his character arc. I love just like how fucking saccharine they are on when they're talking to these kids and performing, and just the fucking cutthroat nature of the business to juxtapose with the mob. And oh my god, there's so many great characters. He's
such a great like sympathetic villain, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
oh
like
god,
he's a total fucking scumfuck, but you can't help but love him.
I know.
And that's so rare.
So TJ, basically what it's just saying is that people are eating way more of these bad fats and oils, and of course,
yeah.
I'm trying to think as I go along here, like what kind of shit could I cut? Like I don't eat a lot of bread.
Yeah.
As it stands, like I'll have a sandwich every once in a while. That's 2 slices of bread. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do eat a lot of pasta, and that could probably fucking contribute pretty negatively.
Well, let me ask you this, Paul: do you eat a lot of processed foods?
Like I don't
like you got a frozen
I'm
pizza.
terrible with this shit. Like what?
A frozen pizza is a processed food.
Okay, yeah. So I had a frozen pizza last night.
Okay, there you go. All the things that this thing's talking about, I guarantee you that pizza probably had in it.
So
I could cut that shit out of my diet and really not hurt myself. That's just like a laziness thing, and I've been doing better with it. I didn't sit down and eat a whole fucking pizza, but I could cut that out of my diet.
So the other day, Chelsea brought home or she didn't bring it home, but we ordered. Chelsea was like hearing about this like chickpea based pastas and shit.
Oh, dude, yeah, those are great.
Yeah, and they like. I was like, man, fuck that garbage. And then she brought some. Well, she bought some, and she made it for we made some kind of like casserole thing.
Does it come in an orange box?
I think so.
Yeah, okay, I think you had the same one.
But anyway, like that chickpea pasta is pretty fucking goddamn close to the original and way less fucking.
What kind of what types of pasta do they make?
They don't make spaghetti, unfortunately, but they do have like a bunch of other fucking.
I think that
noodle styles.
Let me look up. 1 second. Because I think I know what you're talking about. I think
because when it comes to the shit that I'm eating now, that type of stuff is probably the worst of the worst that I'm eating now. Like I don't eat like every once in a while I'll indulge in a sweet or something, but I've never had a problem with sweets. So like
yeah,
I have like my girlfriend will make like a pudding pie or something. I'll have a little slice of that every once in a while. But when it comes to the shit that I'm eating that I think is really like probably holding me back in terms of weight loss,
I think
this is probably pasta.
Oh, they do have spaghetti. Whatever.
It's Banza. Yeah. You're on the same side as me. Yeah. So
these are this is the shit. She brought some of this shit home. It's fucking pretty goddamn good. I'll be honest with you. I don't know how much better it is for you than regular pasta, but it definitely fucking tastes pretty goddamn close. I mean, I think
that like when it comes to the shit that I'm eating that's unhealthy, yeah, like the freezer pizza shit, that's just a laziness buy, because it's like, there's nights where I'm tired, Amelia's tired, we don't feel like cooking. We can pop.
Yeah, fuck that anti-GM. That's just whatever.
We can pop, a pizza in, and I'm not eating a ton of it, but
here's another one
with all this shit.
So this is about the Americans and salt consumption, but obviously it says we eat about 3,400 milligrams of sodium per day, which I've actually seen stuff that says that's about right. Like that's not, that our salt consumption actually is not too bad. But I've also seen people say that it's
I'm not sure about
really
this
bad.
one. I've heard contradictory things.
I've heard things. I mean, like with a lot of health stuff, there's some contradictory stuff. So I think the jury's still out on this salt shit. But
here's what I've heard about salt, and I think that this is true.
I mean, you are the expert, so.
No, I'm not the expert. Well, I am the salt.
Well, no, I mean, I'm just.
Yeah, you're the salt expert.
I'm not saying you're legitimately an expert, but
no. What I've been told about salts is if you're already obese, salts are really like overloading on salts are extra bad for you because it, hardens the arteries and causes you to retain water and shit, which is bad and can cause embolisms and blah, 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 blah. So like if you're already fat and eating a super high sodium diet, it's definitely bad for you. Yeah. That much I know is pretty much well accepted. Now, if you're not fat and you're eating that much sodium a day, but you're maintaining a healthy weight, you're probably fine. But just the combination of a high salt diet with a high carb and high sugar diet is really destructive.
So here's where, according to this is where 40% of the soda, if you are concerned about sodium intake, here's where 40% comes from. Breads and rolls, cured meats, like deli cuts and shit, pizza,
shock here.
Poultry, soups, of course, are loaded with sodium. Sandwiches and burgers, cheese. I eat a lot of cheese. Pasta dishes.
So what are you supposed to eat?
Meat
because
dishes.
I'm looking at this, and a lot of this shit is the shit that I eat. I mean, I eat that, I eat a healthy portion of it, but it's like, what am I supposed to fucking eat?
A lot of these
no
things,
bread, no poultry, no meat, no fucking sandwiches, no cheese, no pasta. Okay, no snack products. Okay, so what does that leave me with? Leafy greens?
Yeah.
Well, what it's saying is that for you to radically change your diet, you can have some of these things, but the thing is that it's also to be cognizant when you're eating it and to like look at the ingredients and see what you're actually consuming.
I mean, this I can kind of tell that there's like, because they're saying like sea salt and Himalayan salt are better. I mean, like that doesn't really matter that much.
No,
like this is,
I don't care about that.
This is like there's a definite like new agey kind of bent to this website. So I'd take all this with a grain of this stuff here.
I pulled it more for the stuff about obesity.
Yeah. So let's look one more thing on food. So here's how much fast food Americans are eating.
The French champagne.
Fast food has become a major part of the American diet, and new reports from U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reveals how much adults eat. Between 2013 and 2016, about 37% of U.S. adults consume fast food on any given day. So, over a third of the populace just on any given day is eating some kind of fast food. On any given day in the United States, an estimated 36.6%, or approximately 84.8 million adults, consume fast food, said Cheryl Fryer, first author of the report and health statistician at the CDC. We focus on fast food in this report because fast food has played an important role in the American diet in recent decades. Fast food has been associated with poor diet and increased risk of obesity.
So, yeah, I mean, I haven't had fast food in quite some time. Well, that's not true. Every once in a while, I'll order like a Chick-fil-A or something.
I probably eat
a sandwich.
I probably get fast food even on my diet probably at least once a week. So
yeah, see, not me. I definitely am not once a week.
But I've changed I've changed my fast food eating habits. Like I don't really get meals at a fast food place. I'll get more like a snack. Occasionally, I'll get a meal at that place, but not too often.
With me, it really depends because there's times I'll go like months, and then there's times I'll eat it more. It just really depends on what's going on in my life, and if I'm obviously going more places or I have to be somewhere, then I'm more likely to eat fast food. But if I'm at home, I almost never go. I want to go eat fast food right now.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes for me, I just feel like I'll get to a point where it's like I need something that's like big and greasy and salty and like has that fucking super rich kind of thing, but. You just got to try to like avoid overindulging in that shit. I feel like.
I mean, if you can have it once in a while, it's fine. You know what I mean?
Well, TJ, you didn't pull the. I know we're almost over 2 hours, and this story is interesting and everything, but I want you to pull the last one.
I didn't
show.
I don't think I saw another one from you.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't.
Here's the. I don't have to go through all of them, obviously, but this is 101 fast foods on the planet.
What is it?
Take a look at a couple.
101 what?
101 the most unhealthy fast foods on the planet. So items from fast food places. Like, what are the absolutely most unhealthy for you?
Is it this one? It's MSN article?
It's on Eat This. It's from the same.
Yeah, it says this is derived from the same thing. So
yeah,
it's like a slideshow, I guess. So
now look at this one.
Are these ranked?
Yes, this is the Burger King Triple Whopper with cheese.
So that's the worst menu item that you can get anywhere in terms of.
So per burger,
just by itself,
1,220 calories, which is pretty. I think that's half. I think of the calories that I'm supposed to have per day to lose weight at a rate of 2 pounds a week.
Do you have two of these?
So I could have, if I wanted, I could have two of these in my entire day. So let me tell you something about the Whopper. Even under the best conditions. A single patty Whopper can taste okay. A double patty Whopper, when you can taste more of that meat, it's like a little bit more like, this is kind of distractingly low quality meat. But if you get this triple Whopper, which I have had, Like, and you can actually taste the Burger King meat in that. Like, and you realize just how nasty that fucking meat truly is when you get to that level of it.
I know we've talked about this before, but Burger King, when I was a kid in the 80s especially, it lived up to its name. It was the king of fast food burgers.
Yeah.
The Whopper was probably the most delicious burger you could get, and now it's inedible. Like, I won't even go to Burger King and get a Whopper anymore.
It's nasty. 82 grams of fat.
I mean, you have to cut basically the quality back to make it still profitable for these companies, because a fast food, what's happened, and a lot of people are bitch about it. Like, you guys had a lot of fast food back in the day, and of course now, it's just that in order to basically keep customers, they've had to lower the cost so much that there's just a constant price struggle. So when you have that happen, the quality has to go down at some point. I think think we've seen a little bit of a rise in fast food, is they've had to compete with other like these more like fast casual stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But now, of course, we had a pandemic, so people are not eating at restaurants anywhere near as much. So that's kind of totally killed that segment of the economy.
Yeah.
So 82 grams of fat, 32 of which are saturated. Fucking 1,470 milligrams of sodium. Crazy amount.
You're getting 4.5 grams of trans fat, which is
right.
Like the worst kind
trans
of fat
fat's
for
the
your
worst
heart.
fat. Yeah. 50 grams of carbs, which are 2 grams fiber and 11 grams sugar, and 71 grams of protein. So it is at least a good source of protein, I guess.
Yeah, there's something.
White Castle hash brown nibblers, 1,440 calories for these.
Jesus. That's the same as that burger.
It's higher. The burger is actually lower calories.
It beats it by 200.
It's 200 calories worse. Crazy. I mean, yeah. You read that right. White Castle offers a literal sack of its battered, fried, bite-sized hash browns. This is meant to be shared, but it's I could definitely sit there and just eat this on my own for sure.
Obviously, yeah.
I think most people that order
a Chipotle carnitas burrito with white rice, black beans, roasted chili, corn queso, salsa, queso, sour cream, cheese, and guac is about 1,500 calories.
Yeah.
No
I don't get
surprise
carnitas there. I get the chicken usually, or the whatever the soy boy one. I can't remember. Their
sofritas are actually pretty good.
Sofritas, yeah. That's what I get.
It's actually not bad. Subway chicken and bacon ranch melt. About 1,150 calories.
See, that's the first one on this list I've come to, and I'm like, I probably wouldn't eat that.
So let me just.
I probably would. It looks pretty decent.
So let me tell you what I'd eat so far. I'd eat that.
I'd eat it.
I mean, I'd eat it especially if I could actually find a good Burger King. But
yeah,
I mean, I'm assuming
I'd eat these.
I would definitely eat these because these are just basically tater tots. I'd eat that for sure.
It's in a heartbeat.
And I'd eat this.
What's wrong with that?
No. Subway's chicken.
Oh, you know what? You're right.
Subway's chicken.
Scotty's right. That chicken is pretty nasty. But you know what?
I thought it had deli meat on it. It's got that lump chicken meat.
Yeah, that shit's pretty gross. That shit is gross.
Dude. Subway does not. You cannot get Subway chicken. I've never liked it. Even like back in the day when they had higher quality ingredients. It's always fucking.
You're right. That's never been good. Taco Bell nachos Bel Grande.
Oh, I've eaten it before.
Oh, fuck, I'd eat that in a second. 740 ain't that bad.
Nachos Bel Grande, dude.
You could work that into a day. KFC Famous Bowl. I mean, that's just garbage anyway. Fucking fuck that.
I don't think I'd want to eat it. I've never wanted.
I mean, I'd probably.
eat it.
I could scarf it down, but
if someone gave it to me, I'd probably eat it.
All right.
I'd eat this.
Arby's roast turkey bacon. I mean, I'd eat this in a fucking second.
This looks fucking good, dude. I want this.
and it looks deceptively healthy, which is
too. It does. 810
let's stop
calories.
on this one. So it does look healthy. That's a good point, Paul. 810 calories, 34 grams of fat, 10 saturated, 0.5 trans fat, 2,400 milligrams of sodium, 79 grams of carbs, 5 grams of fiber. Let's get a little fiber. 16 grams of sugar, and of course, to be fair, 45 grams of protein.
Well, I mean, you better have. Yeah, it's obviously going to be a good source of protein with all that meat there. Checker. This doesn't even look good.
Oh no!
It just looks like a greasy pile of shit for 1,010 calories. There's no way I'd spend my calories on this shit. Plus, when you calorie count, you start to think of calories as money, and this is not something I'd spend my calories on.
I'm telling you, dude. Like when it comes to chicken wings, even my aversion to on the bone, I don't understand people's fucking obsession with chicken wings. It's like so much work for such a tiny little amount of meat. I'd rather have something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, like if anything, like a good chicken wing to me is like it's an appetizer. It's not a main course, and it's just like it's got to be. And if I'm really going to get excited about it, it's got to be something that's really next level.
All I want to say is when I'm Emperor of the Universe, you guys are both gonna be crucified for your stance on chicken.
Scotty,
wings.
you make some good chicken wings, so I'm not. Yours are exempt.
What
McDonald's.
did I do wrong?
McDonald's double quarter pounder with cheese. Not only would I eat this, I've eaten so many of these in my life that it's not even funny.
Yeah, I love this sandwich. I'm not
the
gonna
double
lie.
quarter pounder is definitely a great indulgence.
720 calories, 40 grams of fat. You know,
That's not as bad. Like, that's got half the calories of a triple Whopper,
yeah,
but it's way more enjoyable.
it's a
way better than a triple
sandwich.
Whopper.
Domino's, Cali, chicken, bacon, ranch, hand toss, 16-inch.
530 calories.
530
per
calories
slice.
per slice.
Oh fuck, dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a greasy fuck.
I mean, that's
Nah,
too much.
I don't think I like that one.
I don't
It's
even-
too much, man.
I like a thinner pizza, honestly.
I don't like white sauce pizzas either.
Yeah.
So.
Chick-fil-A Cobb salad with avocado. I think this is probably on here because it's deceptive. Like, you think, I'm getting a salad. It's good.
It's a Cobb.
Yeah.
Like a Cobb salad is basically just like a bunch, like they try and hide the disgustingness of it with lettuce, but it's basically just a pile of ranch dressing, chicken, and bacon
Yep.
with a sprinkling of lettuce thrown in to make it look like a salad. Like, yeah.
Well, of course, the
it's a
dressing
Cobb.
too. I mean,
Yeah.
if you drown this with dressing, that's another 400 to 600 calories.
Oh
right
yeah,
there.
well you do ranch, dude.
Yeah.
You get the ranch fucking dressing on that.
Wendy's
Cobb.
double bacon jalapeno
Ooh.
cheeseburger. 980
Get out of here
calories.
with Wendy's too and their fucking burgers now. Not a fan.
Sonic Asian sweet chili boneless wings.
No, nothing
Looks like
Sonic.
looks like diarrhea to me.
I know it does this.
Yeah, I've taken shits that look like this since I started
I
dieting.
know. 24
This is the
piece
type of
order,
shit
1860 calories.
Oh, it's a Sonic.
No way I'd waste my calories on that.
No,
Fuck
that's
no, dude.
bullshit.
Disgusting shit.
Dairy Queen honey bar. I'd just rather have regular chicken. I don't want this
Yeah,
weird
no.
glaze on it. Just get that out of here.
I want a glaze. What I want
Go
is
ahead.
Back to
the
that
Nashville
one.
hot sauce. The Nashville glaze, like the Nashville wings and the chicken.
Dude, you got to go to that
those are my
Gus's
favorite.
place in New Orleans, dude. They do that Nashville style.
I'd
Oh,
eat
fuck,
this.
dude.
I like them glazed, super crispy chicken tender type of things.
I wouldn't turn it down, but I'd never order this on my own.
I tell you what I don't like though. I hate when they throw toast in with something like this. Like I don't want that toast.
Yeah.
I do like the
Fill
toast.
that gap in with some more fries, please.
Or
I
more
like the toast.
I'd rather have more
I'm
chicken.
saying,
You can fucking.
I do like to get the.
I wouldn't even bother with these fries. Fuck these fries off. Fuck this toast off. This
Well, you
chicken
know
I
how you-
might eat, but
But you know what? You got to go with the toast, TJ. If they're gonna serve you toast, they got to serve you a big old fat piece of Texas toast.
yeah, Texas
That's what it's
toast.
done right. So that's why they've done that wrong.
Pizza Hut meat lovers. I would never eat Pizza Hut. Anyone who even tries to make me eat Pizza Hut, I will kill.
Didn't you just get a Pizza Hut
No.
pizza meat lovers
No.
delivered while we
No.
were streaming?
No, that was Papa John's. I'll never eat
Oh,
Pizza
okay.
Hut. You'll never see me eat it. If anyone tries to make me
Honestly,
eat it, I
TJ,
will kill them.
I'll tell you what. And it's gonna shock you to learn this, dude. But Papa John's around here's gone so downhill. I actually switched to Pizza Hut, and it actually is better.
Well, I switched to Papa John's recently, and I think it's way better because I used to be on Domino's. And
Well, I don't like Domino's. Domino's is my
But
least
you know
favorite
what?
fast food pizza.
I'm coming to kill you later because you fucking have betrayed our family by eating Pizza Hut.
I have more weapons than you, so
Yeah,
Not
but
really
it doesn't
worried about
matter.
it.
It doesn't matter. Your weak Pizza Hut addled body cannot even lift a gun to fucking defend yourself.
oh, well, you're about to find out differently, but that's fine.
Jack in the Box Bacon Ultimate Cheeseburger.
Dude, I will tell you.
That's
Fuck,
a
I
good
love
looking
this one, dude.
motherfucker right there.
Fuck,
This
I love
right
this
here.
one.
My teenage self probably ate 7,000 of these. I had a rare Jack in the Box in my hometown that was really good. And
Hell
I
yeah.
would pull through at 2 a.m. and get one of these and a couple tacos to go with it. I mean, you think about how many calories that is at fucking 2 in the morning.
910
And that's just the
for
burger.
one.
I would roll through at 2 in the morning, get the fucking large combo, and add 2 tacos. So I was probably eating like 4,000 calories worth of shit.
How did you get fat, Paul?
I don't know.
Jimmy John's JJ Gargantuan.
I have eaten this sandwich. I have eaten this sandwich.
Now,
at least
I
several
like
times.
Jimmy John's, and I got to say, this sandwich looks pretty dope to me, and I would eat the fuck out of this sandwich. And
It's fucking good as shit, dude.
I'm not a big fan of like mixed meats on sandwiches. I'd rather, if this was just a big old Hankin turkey sandwich or a big old Hankin roast beef, I'd be more. I don't like this mixed meat shit. I don't like this ham, beef, chicken, turkey shit that they do on.
So
sandwiches.
I'm going to say that I am of the opposite persuasion, where this looks very appealing to me. But I would definitely spend. It's a high calorie cost, but I'd pay it for this. Five Guys bacon cheeseburger with lettuce, tomato, pickles, and ketchup and mayo. 766 calories. That's not even that bad for a fucking burger. Whatever.
And a Five Guys burger is pretty tasty.
Pretty fucking good. Way better than most fast food burgers. So
here's where you're killing yourself.
Here's where you fuck yourself.
Guys,
I don't even like their fries, so I wouldn't even bother. But,
I'll eat their Cajun fries. I'll do those ones. But I'm not going to do the regular.
Yeah, their Cajun fries are good. I bet they're worse than these too.
But a large fry here is about 1,300 calories, so not great.
But you usually just get one anyways if you go there.
Yeah. Bojangles chicken rice bowl and biscuit with cheese, which doesn't even look that appealing, but apparently 1,100 calories, so fuck that.
No, I don't even know. I've never been to a Bojangles.
I've never been to Taco John's. I don't know about that. In-N-Out Burger 4x4 burger, 1,050 calories.
I mean, this is kind of cheating because the 4x4 is not a menu item. It's just like something that it's you're getting a fucking regular burger and adding 3 patties to it. Basically.
Yeah, that's no good. Cinnabon caramel pecan bon.
No, I don't.
It looks like a fucking turd.
Dude, I love Cinnabon. I don't know what your guys' problem is. That shit right there is fucking delicious.
I just like the classic Cinnabon, dude. I like Cinnabon, but I just want the classic.
I don't like Cinnabon. I've never liked anything from Cinnabon. It's garbage. Einstein Brothers Chorizo Sunrise 2-egg signature. This doesn't appeal to me.
No.
Never
If it
seen
was like a real restaurant that had this would appeal to me, but not some fucking chain. Well, they used to have one in Columbus, TJ.
Yeah, I've seen it. Shake Shack Double Smoke Shack.
Fuck yeah, dude.
I'd probably eat that. 870 calories.
I'm not a fan of the Steak Shack. The whole their burgers were but their fries, they're lying with them fries because they've got.
Yeah, I agree with you that
they've got them fucking. Oh no, wait. Am I thinking? Oh no, I'm thinking of Steak and Shake. Never mind.
Steak and Shake's. Oh, Steak and Shake's burgers and fries are garbage.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Shake Shack is a whole different chain.
So I was looking at those fries and I was like, no, those motherfuckers. I was looking at them fries and I was like, them motherfuckers have them shoestring potato fries.
And they don't even. They never. Look, not only does Shake Shack have shoestring, which can be good if it's done right, but they never do it right. They're always undercooked and like pale and pathetic.
You're talking about Steak and Shake or Shake Shack?
Steak and Shake.
Steak and
Shake.
Shake
Shack again. We're
whatever.
We're getting confused.
They're too fucking whatever. Anti-Ams, whatever. That's not even fucking.
That's not really whatever.
Jumby, how's this? Okay.
I wouldn't get that in a million years.
580 calories for some fucking bananas and strawberries and some fucking yogurt. No way,
dude. That'd be a good ass breakfast.
Quiznos prime rib horseradish XL 12-inch. Now this is a motherfucking sandwich if I ever seen one.
Yeah, I'd tear this up.
Oh my god, I'd eat the fuck out of that. But I would pay the price of 1,310 calories, 57 grams of fat, 22 of saturated, 1.5 of trans, like basically every ounce of sodium in existence, and a million carbs.
About right.
Another Einstein Brothers thing. Who cares? McDonald's quarter pounder with cheese and bacon. I've had this. It's pretty decent. $6.20. Not even too bad. Whatever.
Typically don't like bacon on fucking McDonald's burgers. I don't know what it is. I'm not a fan.
Fast food bacon can be kind of wonky. Another Burger King sandwich. Let's see. Let's just find if we can find the granddaddy of them all in here somewhere.
Oh, dude. You just skip the big breakfast. That's fucked up, man.
I mean, you're gonna have to scroll for like 10 minutes. It's 101.
Yeah, I mean, like we gotta fucking get through this a little faster. I want to see like the ones that are really crazy on here.
All right, fair enough then. Let's keep
so let's
fucking. Are they getting worse as we go?
No, they just seem to be around. Okay, well this one's fucking crazy.
Whoa, what the fuck?
Whataburger triple meat Whataburger is 1,885 calories, 84 grams of fat, 23 grams saturated fat, 3 grams trans fat, 2,000 sodium. This is a crazy motherfucker.
That's bad, but I fucked this burger up, dude.
Dude,
that burger doesn't look good.
Is the thing I missed most about Texas, dude. Whataburger is so fucking above most other places. It's just great.
So here's the
Raising Cane's.
Here's the Caniac combo.
I fucking love Raising Cane's, dude. I've eaten this many times. This is exactly what I get to.
I have
these motherfucking chicken tenders right here.
Their fries suck.
These motherfucking chicken tenders right here are floppy, sad motherfuckers. This ain't no chicken tender. Raising Cane's don't know shit. I was all built up on Raising Cane's coming down here.
Drag this man out of here, TJ.
Boo.
You're just going to take off the show.
Boo.
Everybody told me, like, you guys were all playing it up. You guys are all playing it up when we moved down here to Louisiana. Oh, man, Paul.
Raising Cane's, dude.
Cane's, boy. Wait till you get down on the bayou and get you a Raising Cane's, boy. And I got Raising Cane's. I remember the first time we got it, we all ate it together. The girls went out and got us a big fucking meal of Raising Cane's. And I picked one up, right? I picked it up and it went like a limp dick. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And I had to dip it like a dick into the fucking sauce. It's just a big wet piece of unseasoned meat with
Paul
some
probably ate his like 2 hours
later
or something. He probably ate it 2 hours.
I ate it when you guys ate it. The first time I ever had Raising Cane's, I sat there with you guys.
A damn lie, Paul.
But,
you ate it right then.
And you motherfuckers were pulled.
I don't remember seeing your face there, Paul. You a liar.
You motherfuckers were pulled up like hogs at a trough eating these big floppy chicken finger dicks. And I was like, is this the place? Did you go to Raising Cane's? Good.
Well, Paul, I mean, Paul, I guess you're just the fucking outlier because they're doing fine in business.
I'll
Paul,
tell you what.
Lots of money, Paul.
I'll tell you what. They're well, so is Burger King, and they're shit.
No, Burger King's not making a lot of money. They're going down the tubes, man.
Well, hey, look, hey, whatever you think about Raising Cane's and the Caniac, it is an 1,860 calorie meal with 111 grams of fat.
Fuck, it's bad.
A mountain of sodium. So many carbs.
It ain't
dude, I'm guilty of eating that one within the last couple
it's ice
months.
cream. Whatever.
I'll give Raising Cane's this. Their sauce is good. The cane sauce is good.
Thank you very much.
Let's see here. This fucking ripoff Chipotle has fucking 1,400, basically 1,500 calories there. Bojangles, who cares? Zaxby's, who cares?
I mean, come on.
All right, let's see what we got here.
That was disgusting.
Whatever.
Okay, well, duh, muffin's gonna be bad for you,
dude. You know who agrees with me too, Scotty? This must rankle you. Your wife. She fucking hates Raising Cane's too. She was my sole fucking.
Taylor is a fucking adamant defender of Raising Cane's. Taylor loves Raising Cane's.
Taylor loves.
She told me when we first moved down here she hated it because she used to work there.
Oh,
and she fucking thought it was disgusting.
Well, now she defends it ardently. I don't know. She changed her tune.
How dare she fucking lie to me? How dare she?
But you know who
feel kinship?
You know who you do have an. You know how you do have an ally in is my wife because she hates Raising Cane's.
Oh, maybe I'm getting it mixed up then. Maybe it was Chelsea.
I think that's what it is. Yeah, I think it's Chelsea that hates it.
Chelsea loves. You know what Chelsea loves?
I could swear though. I remember Taylor saying, "Man, I can't even eat Raising Cane's because I used to work there. It's fucking disgusting."
I'm telling you, I've been married to Taylor for freaking 3 years or 2 years, whatever it is. Like, she's an ardent defender of Raising Cane's to anybody.
Let's see here. I actually, okay, whatever. Here we go. I'm not seeing anything too crazy on the rest of this. Like, show me something that's totally nuts. Like, show me something that's fucking insane.
I think you saw the crazy one. Let's see, Blimpies. No one's gonna. I mean, whatever.
I want to see one that just fucking blows my goddamn mind with how many calories.
You've already seen those. None of these are gonna blow your fucking mind.
Whatever.
Just look up highest calorie fast food meal, dude. Just fuck this shit. Just if you want to see the something crazy, highest calorie fast food.
Highest calorie fast food item. What is it? Highest calorie items at third. Oh, here's like buy a restaurant what the highest calorie items are.
Oh, dude, some of the shit at Cheesecake Factory that is insane.
Double quarter pounder. That's not even that bad. 780. Triple stack king 1,370. Sawsome bacon classic 1,170.
Yeah, yet again, not that bad.
Sausage egg and cheese biscuit 670. That's not even too bad.
Triple Decker Club, not that bad.
1030, 670, 1280.
Well, you know what?
Pretty bad.
Just eliminate fast food and just put restaurants. If you really want to see some of the shit,
I want to see something. God damn it, our fast food restaurants are slacking on us. I'll tell you that. What's going on right here? We need to fucking create something with way more calories than any of this shit. I want a fucking one sandwich with 9,000 calories in it somehow. We got to figure it out.
Where was the double down on that list? You think?
Yeah, what was the
up there?
Let's see. Well, I don't think that exists anymore, but
I think it does. I think you can still get the double down.
All right, let's see.
Maybe
double down wrong. KFC nutritional information. Let's see. Double down.
I gotta remember the double. I gotta say the double down was probably like The last time I felt that a fast food joint was really trying to do what you were talking about.
You're right.
Like push the boundaries of decency. Let's remove the bread and make the breaded chicken. And fill it with more bacon and cheese.
Double down. Where's the nutritional information? They took it down, but I guess they brought it back in 2014 briefly. Fat content. Double Down contains a staggering 37 grams of fat, 11 which are saturated.
Damn, 11 grams of fucking saturated?
Yeah, hold on. I'm trying to find the... All right, here we go. It's only 600. It's actually only 610 calories per sandwich, so it's not even that bad.
I guess it's probably because it doesn't have bread.
Yeah.
It's all meat.
Well, TJ, you remember your favorite thing when she did go to Cheesecake Factory was the chicken and biscuits. And it's like really one of the worst items. I think it's like 2,700 calories or something.
Yeah, let me check on that.
I used to get that Portobello burger at fucking Cheesecake Factory. It was good.
Yeah, there was one thing that he used to get that was like, we looked it up and it was just so fucking ridiculous. Let's see. Cheesecake Factory.
Here we go. 2,262 calories.
Yeah, I remember your justification too. You're like, you know what? I know it's fucking bad.
I don't even,
just, you know.
Let me see what my calorie limit.
No, because you were on one of your diets. We were in Ohio. You were on one of your diets, and you ordered it, and you're like, Scotty, you know, look, I have had nothing else to eat today. That's gonna be all I'm gonna eat is this right here. I'm not gonna eat this bread. I'm not gonna eat anything else.
So
and I'm gonna be fine.
The Cheesecake Factory chicken and biscuits is pretty goddamn close to being as many calories as I'm supposed to have a day. Like it's like 40 calories away from being.
Yeah, I remember because I remember you were on a similar diet. That you actually did that. That was like one day you're like, that's all I'm gonna eat. Of course, I think
you could have that. You could have that for lunch and a half of an orange slice for dinner, TJ.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's your day.
That's how he goes. All right. You guys feel satisfied that we've done a show?
I feel actually the opposite because I've just looked at a bunch of shit I'm not allowed to eat. So I feel very unsatisfied at the moment. But as far as the show goes, yeah, I'm satisfied with the show.
All right.
Are you not entertained?
Thank you guys for watching. See you next time.
Big fat fry.